Welcome, everyone. We got a good show for you tonight. Let's do it. It's going to be a banger. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Coming of Shadows, the Babylon 5 Retrospective, Season 2. This week on this program, we're talking about Episode 20, The Long Twilight Struggle. But before we talk about that, I need to introduce my co-host. He's the man who uses mass drivers on his friends and his enemies. It's Cam. Say hello, Cam.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Yes. Good evening. We have a. What do you think about the show, Cam? Tonight, the episode we're talking. Is it? Good show. Ho hum. Blah blah blah.
Huge show.
Big one. Very big.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we've got 9 people with us. Then at least they're coming in. They're slowly squirting in. Yeah.
You know, I noticed something just now.
You did? What'd you notice?
638 subscribers.
That is true. We are up to 638 subscribers. We were stuck at 635 forever. And now we're at 3 more. We're climbing the mountain an inch at a time like a snail. It is a slog. But thank you to all you people here. We appreciate everyone who comes into the show. And if you're in the show and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And just so you know, we're open for super chats now. We crossed the magic number with our overlords at YouTube, and now they let us do super chat. So if you want to support the channel and throw in a super chat, please do. We'll be very thankful, and we'll read your comment on the show. That's super chat for sure. We read lots of comments, but for sure, if you get a super chat, and if you insult Cam, I'll read it like double E loud or something. I don't know. It's even more likely to get read. So that's it. I think that's all of any other administrative stuff. Cam, before we bring in our guest panelists and our regular co-panelists.
Let's go for it.
Oh no! One other thing. At the end of the show, we have Madman made us a promo for season 3. We've been mentioning about this. We've been teasing it, and tonight, at the end of the show, big reveal. We're going to play the season 3 promo for the show, and then it's going to go live on my channel as well. So, if you miss it, you can watch it there too. But yeah, it's pretty. I got to say, it's pretty good. I mean, it's better than the ones that I've done so far, and much better job. All right. Awesome. Okay, so we bring everyone in. Let's bring in Jeff, our regular co-host, and Dean, the special co-panelist for today. And Q2 Madman is coming in, and he's taking Jason's spot. Jason is not able to be with us tonight. So
thank you, Coach. Thank you.
Madman's going to take his spot. Right on. Okay. Gentlemen, anything you have before we get started? I guess we could jump right in. Anybody have anything special they want to? This is a pretty big episode. I want to.
This was a good episode.
Want to spend some time. I think I got 3 Cokes lined up to drink. Normally I just have 2. I usually only drink 1. Normally have 2, just in case. And maybe we'll be. This might be a 3-banger. Let's say before we do the trivia from last week, let's say hello to everybody in the chat. Let's see who's here. Vicky is here. Umbras is in here. Good to see you, Weatherman, our most loyal viewer here from the beginning. Good to see you, Weatherman. Glad you can make it out tonight. Oh, Michael, we haven't seen you off and on for a bit. Good to see you. Right on.
Yeah.
Who else? Oh, Dave is here. And of course, as per always, he sends greetings from the Narn delegation. Rough show on the Narn delegation today, as we will soon be discussing. And of course, Jeanette is here. Hello, Jeanette. Good to see you. Did I miss anyone? I'm just scrolling down here, seeing who I think I got everybody. If I missed you, say something in the chat. You can lurk down below if you want, but you're welcome to join the discussion from everybody here in the League of Non-Aligned Worlds up at the top here who mentioned stuff in the chat. But yeah, we appreciate it. Okay. Oh, I almost forgot one thing before. I'm contractually obligated to. Cam and I were discussing a few things this week. We were discussing the show, and I'm contractually obligated to put this quote from Cam, which he told me earlier yesterday. I think it was, "You're not the boss of me."
Oh, I thought he was going to say I quit.
No. This is halfway there, I guess. But just so everyone is aware, Cam feels that I am not the boss of him. So just in case anyone was, felt that was true. All right. Okay. So let's go to our trivia questions from last week, and put them up there and answer the questions. So last week's trivia was, of course, divided loyalties. The who is the spy? What is the name of the special section that not Kalen Dillon has added to her newspaper? Where is the Psycho Research Center? What is Control? Who does Lita contact for help after escaping? And who visits Kosh at the end of this episode? And of course, the answers for those of you who didn't know. Ion Mimbari is the name of the special section in Universe Today. The Psycho Research Center was at Syria Planum. Was mentioned, I believe, at the beginning of the show. The code name Control is a code name for something. We don't quite know what it is. I mean, I suspect, but I don't think we've been told per se. Maybe we'll find out later seasons. Maybe. Who does Lita contact for help after escaping? She goes to see Delin, and Kosh. Lita visits Kosh at the end of the episode. All right. So those are the answers from last week. I'm sure everybody got them. Hopefully, everybody got them right. Yeah. All right. This episode is Cam approved. Yes, finally, Cam. Right on. Okay, so we jump right into it, gentlemen. Last chance if you got everything before the show starts. All right, let's jump right in. Cam, you want to do our opening quick summary, and then I will read as quickly as possible the more detailed summary, so everybody knows is on the same page. Go ahead.
Here we go. Season 2, episode 20, episode 42 overall, The Long Twilight Struggle, written by J. Michael Straczynski. Originally aired October 18th, 1995. Episode 219 in production order, so one off again, just pretty close this whole season's. The Centauri war machine rolls on towards the Narn homeworld, unknowingly aided by the shadows, while the remains of the Narn fleet plan a last-ditch counterattack.
All right. Oh, and we just had a super chat come in from Michael, $5. Thank you. Appreciate that. Testing if you will read my chats. Firefly is the best sci-fi show. Say it, Cam. Say it.
Cam's got to read it.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Super chat for me.
This is the universal law of super chats. It has to be read. So here we go. I can't tell you how much this pains me. Firefly is the best sci-fi show.
Right on. All right.
Yay.
It's now it's true. See, look, Cam is growing. He's growing beyond his programming. See, he's growing. It's good. It's
Leaps
good
and
to grow. All right.
bounds. 10 million.
Okay,
strong.
let me.
And
Thanks, Michael.
growing.
We appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, so let me get into the detailed summary of the show. So the show starts off with Londo and Rifa talking on Centauri Prime about how the Rifas plan to end the war. Delin has a strange visitor which just sort of glows in her quarters. We don't see who that is. And in the command and control, we hear about an energy surge coming down from the planet. Sheridan's in the shower. This is a special episode for all the ladies. He comes out of the shower, and Drawl appears to him. And if everybody remembers, Drawl is the guy who was he's the Minbari who was put in the heart of the machine that exists on the planet when they went down to the planet there earlier.
But no longer played by Louis Ternane.
Yeah, different guy.
Yeah.
We can talk about
Pink
that.
Floyd playing in the background there. Welcome to the Machine.
Yeah. Okay, and then we go to the opening sequence of the show, and after the credits go and everything, we get back to Sheridan and Drawl. He tells him, "Hey, I'm the Minbari. I'm in the heart of the machine. I have, quote, some great and terrible secrets. I've been a holder of great and terrible secrets." And he invites Sheridan for a visit on the planet, and he gets to bring one other person, and he'll know who that person is. And then we cut to Justen and Jakar talking. And Justen, we haven't seen him before, but he is apparently the uncle of Jakar, and he's someone important in the war, like the admiral or something of the fleet, something important like that, maybe the defense minister. He tells them that the Narn are losing, even though they've been keeping it secret. And Jakar says, "What? I didn't know that." But they have a plan. They're going to do an all-out attack on Gorash 7, which is apparently an important Centauri logistical world that they've been using in the war. And hopefully this all-out attack will cut the supply lines and force the Centauri to sort of pause or slow down the war. It's not going to win the war, but it maybe buy them some time. However, it's risky because the Narn homeworld will be left defenseless. All right. And from there, we've got two sort of, I see two separate things going on. The first is the going down to the planet. I'll go over that first. So very quickly, that's Delin is obviously the second person. She goes and talks to Sheridan and says, "I got to talk to her." And he's like, "Hey, I'm in a hurry." She goes, "Yeah, me too. I'm the person who's supposed to come down with you." Drawl also appeared to her. So Garibaldi is first concerned that the message might be fake. It could be a trap. Ivanova verifies that she thinks it's real. They detected energy surges from the planet and from in the bottom of the planet 3 miles down, something like that. So they're like, okay, we're going to go. So they go down there. They meet Drawl. Drawl knows basically about everything that's going on. He knows about Sheridan's little conspiracy. He offers an alliance with Sheridan. He tells them that they can see to distant worlds, whatever that means. Seems like he can spy on other planets from where he is. And he suggests that they keep this alliance secret and not tell Earth about it. And they agree. And then also we find out that Zathras also works on that planet down there.
Oh man, you spoiled Zathras.
Yeah, that's part of the thing.
No,
yells for
let me interrupt.
Zathras and
It's
complains.
Zathras.
He yells and complains that Zathras, that guy, is never around when you need him.
Yeah, he's always jumping to some other parallel time thing.
It's always it's good to see Zathras back. Not really. All right. So let's go to the war with the Narn Centauri War, which is the main part of the episode. So Rifa is, he basically tells Londo that they're going to assault the Narn homeworld. He needs Londo to use his special friends to defend Gorash 7 while they're going to send all their fleet to the Narn homeworld while it's not being guarded. They are also going to use mass drivers, which are basically a weapon of mass destruction, akin to not really, but I mean, it would kind of be the horror, I guess, with using nuclear weapons on somebody nowadays, I think. And he's going to bombard the Narn homeworld. And of course, Londo says, "What? Those things are, nobody uses those. Those are, against the various conventions and stuff." But Rifa doesn't seem to care. They're going to do it anyway.
Drivers, yeah.
Londo also mentions that, hey, I'm not really happy with my, quote, allies. They're a little bit too powerful, and I'm afraid what's going to happen with them. Rifa doesn't seem to care, but Londo swears that this is the last time he's going to use the shadow. We'll see about that, I think. I suspect that that might not go. Anyway, Jakar is has been briefed about the from Justin about the plan. The Dr. Franklin, asks to see Jakar and passes on some info from some refugees. And he suggests that, hey, the Centauri are asking a lot of questions about your homeworld defenses. They seem really, interested in it right now. They might be going after your homeworld. Jakar goes, and passes that along, that info to Justin, but Justin doesn't really believe him, or is, too wrapped up in what he's doing and betting on this plan, hoping and praying. And so he doesn't bother. He says, nope, we're going with the attack anyway. The Narn attack Gorash 7. They get taken out by the
Do they
Shadow.
even attack?
They
I don't think they
come
got
in,
that far.
They jump in, they start their attack. The Shadow shows up. They blow up a bunch of Narn ships. And I mean, it looks like they get completely wiped out from what I can tell. Some of them try to escape, and then they blow up going through the warp gate wormholes. So
Yeah.
I think they're completely wiped out as far as I can tell. They don't say
it's important to note the Narn were the first to actually damage a shadow vessel.
Yes,
there is a shadow vessel that is one of its tentacles is cut off at the end there, and it kind of makes a little scream. But anyway, we can talk about that. But anyway, the point is the Narn get squashed. The news of the Centauri attack on the homeworld starts to leak out. It causes a riot on Babylon 5 where they just start beating on each other. Hey, we're losing the war. Let's fight. Meanwhile, Londo is, of course, on the ship watching the mass driver weapons rain down on Narn. And we hear, of course, later from various news reports about how the planet is being destroyed. There's, no water, no power. It's, blown back to the Stone Age is what they use. From there, Jakar, looking very humbled, asks for sanctuary from Sheridan. Then Londo comes back to Babylon 5 after the blasting of the Narn homeworld, asks to meet the Council and the League, everyone together. He says that the Narn have unconditionally surrendered. He gives some terms that are quite out of this world and outrageous, I think. I don't know if everyone will agree. We'll talk about the details of the terms. And says that Jakar is, he's no longer part of the council because he's, his the Kari, which is the government group that Jakar belongs to, has been suspended. They're all going to be put on trial, etc. He is got to leave the council. Jakar looks utterly defeated. However, Londo wants him arrested, but Sheridan says, hey, we already asked for sanctuary, and he's under the protection of Babylon 5 now. Jakar gives a speech, which we will talk about, which is quite pretty good, quite an interesting speech. And that's the end of the council. Later on, Sheridan meets with Jakar and shakes his hand and basically shows a lot of respect for Jakar, even though they've been fighting throughout the season, butting heads. And finally, at the end of the episode, Sheridan gets together with Dylan and he meets the members of the conspiracy, the Rangers, etc., that we've been hearing about, and gives a speech about the Army of Light. And that's the end of the show. We can talk about those. I think we will eventually get to the speech by Jakar, maybe Sheridan's speech, and some of what Londo talks about are all pretty big things going on. So we probably want to talk about those at some point. Cam, where would you like to start off?
I'd like to suggest that we start off with the bit withdrawal and Sheridan and Dylan.
Get that done, yeah.
That's a pretty important part.
Now, let me add on to this because of what I said earlier. Louis Ternane was the original Drawl, the actor that played Drawl. He has been replaced by John Schuck at this point because Louis wasn't available for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
However, they do explain a little bit about his different appearance.
Yes. They do a great lampshade of this. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I honestly didn't notice the difference. It had been long enough, I think.
Are you saying all Minbari look alike to you?
Well,
Oh no! Careful! I don't want the Minbaris coming after us on the show. We'll shut down.
I don't think that all Minbari look alike, but all Minbari look alike. No, yeah, there was definitely he obviously looks younger.
Yeah,
And
they
that's
explained,
kind
and
of
he mentioned
30
that. He
years
said
younger.
that the machine rejuvenated him and such.
Yeah. So.
And John Shuck being the actor that he is, and how he's sort of enthusiastic in his roles, he brings a little bit more excitement to the character.
He does. He's
Yeah,
very
he's bombastic almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you were 30 years younger and rejuvenated, you would be too.
I thought it was quite interesting how he was speaking, like how he's like, like Sheridan says, oh, he gives Sheridan a compliment, and Sheridan goes, thank you, and he goes, I wasn't finished yet. He's like, oh, all right.
Did you anybody else think, when you first saw it, did anybody else think that Ivanova was the one in the shower?
Yeah. It was a bit disappointing, but yeah, it's.
What are you saying, that Sheridan looks like a girly man?
No. When you hear the shower and all that.
Well, the last thing you hear is Ivanova being mentioned, and then you got
That's
the
true.
shower scene sort of starting up, and it happened before Tomb Raider came out, and Tomb Raider was always the big sort of modded shower scene with Lara Croft. So, but you kind of led down that route of thinking, oh, is this Ivanova's quarters?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
big
switch.
switch.
The guy calls. He calls Commander Ivanova. So I'm expecting them to cut to her room, and she's gonna, she's gonna answer the phone, so to speak.
Instead, we get Bruce, and it's
yeah.
Did you
It's
notice
for the ladies?
Lieutenant Corwin there being very bold in his declaration to which would appear to be the other senior officer, and I'm judging that by the uniforms. She had the full leather section in the middle, and he just had the collar. So I think it's indicating he's a lower rank. He is lieutenant, but she questioned him, and he's like, no, this is it. So he's
PB. Now, what does that make me? Am I Zathras?
It's uncanny.
you do look a little bit like Zathras.
Well, Zathras
it's the
so.
beard, yeah.
Anyway, so they go down to the planet, or they're invited down to the planet.
Yeah.
And Garibaldi's very upset about this for some reason.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's like
unusually upset about it, it seems. I guess he does the experience, from the prior episode with, where they went down there.
A whole season
ago. That's why he wanted to go down there.
Yeah. He didn't get to go the first time, did he?
No.
Yeah, he did.
No?
I think Garibaldi's just naturally suspicious, so he's like, it could be a trap. Like, that's his... He kind of thinks that's his job, right? So
my notes just have Garibaldi being Garibaldi. He is naturally suspicious at anything.
Interestingly enough, Londo did go down there.
Yes.
And but Ivanova comes in and bursts his bubble. She's like, yeah, it's coming from the inside the planet.
Yeah, 3 miles down. Sorry.
So they do go down without any incident, although Delenn pretends to know the way and really doesn't.
Yeah, that was cute.
But they find their way eventually.
Well, yes, I remember everything. I'm a Minbari.
Vicky liked the shower scene. Dean, isn't that someone you know?
Yeah, she does. She does like that shower scene.
As soon as I saw short hair, I'm like, oh no, my eyes. Right. Where's the bleach?
Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead, Cam.
Well, and then they begin their conversation with Drawl, in which said he was quite bombastic, and he's not quite spilling the beans on things, but he's kind of setting the stage for this, being like, yeah, I've learned a lot, I know what's going on, and basically says we're gonna form an alliance here and put this very powerful tool at your disposal. So that alone was kind of a big development. If nothing else happened in this episode, that was pretty significant, I think.
Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say in the first episode with Drawl, when he goes down there, the original caretaker, or whatever you want to call him, did he appear the same way, or did he appear on like the screens or something like that?
No, he appeared as a hologram.
Did he appear as hologram? Okay.
Yeah, calling for help.
Yeah, but it was distorted and not quite.
Yeah, it was flickering and very faded.
And maybe that, whereas this was completely the opposite. This was, he was like, boom, there. And he's like, hi, this is the ghost of Christmas future. We're going to take you on a ride.
No, you got to remember the Epsilon planet was chaotic back in that episode when Drawl replaced him.
Malfunctioning.
Because he was dying, right?
So because he was dying.
Yeah.
Now we're at a point where Drawl has fully taken control. He knows what this planet is capable of. So it's back to full power again. What is it capable of? We don't know. Not yet, but we don't know. I mean, he says, like he said, I know about, what you're doing, Sheridan, you're doing about Earth and all the secretive things and that. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, no, come on. Yes, you do. You don't have to lie to me. I know it. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell anybody. They're going to have to tell your government.
Except for Delenn that he just stole.
Well, Delenn was already part of the.
Not of the Earth conspiracy.
Oh, the Earth conspiracy. Yeah.
Right.
But the Delenn had her own conspiracy, the Rangers, which Drawl then, quid pro quo, said you've now got to introduce him to the Rangers.
So you and Garibaldi was aware of that, as was
right. Well, yeah, Garibaldi more.
I thought Sheridan was aware of the Rangers previously, though.
No,
not as of
he says specifically in there at the end of the episode where he goes to Garibaldi, hey, did you know about this? And Garibaldi's like, yeah, maybe for 8 or 9 months.
Just for most of the season. Yeah,
Well, we're kind of. Do you want to discuss the end scene? It is kind of separate from.
Let me mention before we go to that. I think that we're not talking about it much, but this is like this. The station here, the planet. I mean, this is a huge. If you can spy on your enemies and know, from this area, and they're like, God knows how far away
to everybody.
This is huge, man. Like this is like complete and complete 100% correct intelligence on all of your enemies and what they're up to. I mean, this is huge in a war like that.
I mean, you have to
turn the tide as far as I saw it. I'm like, geez, they just were given the keys, man. Almost. How can they lose now?
Sheridan was given the keys. Earthdome was not. So
yeah,
and
that's why in that back episode when the other caretaker was dying, his people was showing up, and those were like radicals that were were no good. They know what they can use that machine to conquer the galaxy.
Yeah. I just don't want to under represent what this could be for the forces of light. This is a huge win. They're going to know everything that's going on.
And the question is how old? Does anybody remember how old the planet, this civilization was? Was it around the last time? I think it was, wasn't it?
It was, about 1,000 years.
Yeah. So, it may have been a party to that conflict.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
If we're good at that, we can move on to the final scene of the.
Well, they are kind of related. As Dean mentioned there, at the end, Sheridan is brought into a meeting where Garibaldi is and Delenn is, and a bunch of other people, and some of them,
a lot of people,
right? Yeah. And they're introduced as Rangers. They didn't all appear to be garbed as Rangers, but maybe they're Ranger Auxiliary or something like that. But suffice it to say, these are people that are part of the Army of Light, right? Yeah. The conspiracy of light. And Delenn mentions that she had local command of the Rangers, which she then pledges to share with Sheridan.
And that's an interesting point. She pledges to share it and yields command. It was kind of worded a little weird to me, because
she said like co-command something,
right. But basically, then she pledges herself to Sheridan. So I don't know. It was a little weird. Maybe it's a Minbari thing. You know.
Well, and then there's also the question of Sinclair, who is, you know, the leader of this group.
That's technically,
which I don't think they
Co-commands
mentioned.
don't usually work
He
out
is,
very
yeah.
well.
They didn't mention Sinclair, did they? In this
No,
episode?
they did not.
No, but we know he's on Minbar.
Right.
Now
Or last we
often
know he was on Minbar.
Often when I watch the episode, I see the opening sequence of the next episode. So I have seen the opening sequence, of the next episode. So
Yeah,
I'm
you know
wondering
that the mentioning of that is foreshadowing the next episode.
Well, that next.
Well,
episode
no, I'm just saying that
on
maybe there's a
different
reason where
DVD,
she
so.
says co-leading and stuff. Maybe there's the next episode has a reference to that.
You're watching on the Blu-rays, aren't you, Stom?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because this is the last episode on this disc for the DVD set. So I do not get that opportunity when it's the fourth episode on the disc.
Well, I just sometimes leave it in. I just see the opening sequence to the next episode.
Okay.
I should also. I think I failed to mention that Kosh was also there in that meeting.
Kosh was also
Kosh
there.
was very quiet. Yeah.
And Kosh was also in the council meeting as well.
And the implication is that Kosh is under her command as one of these. That was kind of a weird.
No,
right?
because Garibaldi was there also, and he's not under her command. These were people that know about it, right? Yeah, this was coming together of the
Rebel Alliance,
the group, basically. Yeah, it was, and they also.
No, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's
because there's obviously a cabal, and I've said this, for many episodes where I think that the Shadows is working to disrupt things in Earthdom, as well as on Minbar, as well as on with the Narn and the Centauri. I think just like they have these Rangers everywhere. I think the Shadow has people like Morden all over the place too.
As the only other virgin on the show with Jeff, that's my feeling as well. Like all these disruptions, the whole Minbari Narn war is
their plan.
Is distractions part of their plan to sow chaos. It was the easiest to sow chaos there, because obviously those two hate each other, so they were able to have a very successful operation there. But they're being less successful on Earth, but they are having some success because of the conspiracy to overthrow the president.
Well, and you got the anti-alien groups, and you've got
maybe less successful on Minbar compared to those other two, but they still have people who are against Delin, and she's having problems even though she's trying to help out.
I mean,
there's something going on.
They
got rid of her, right?
The Grey Council, is got now 2 people from the military on
4.
Four. But they've got an additional person from the military replacing somebody from the religious caste, and that is upset the balance. So in a way, and maybe that guy is an agent of the Shadow.
Could be.
I'm just this is just coming to me right now.
You guys are not allowed to talk, just us two. Yeah. These things have all occurred to me too. That maybe there's more going on. Does anybody want to know?
Remember what Sheridan says at the end of this episode, which is very important because of what you guys are saying right now. Right? Yeah. This is the actual quote itself. For the last year, things haven't exactly been going our way. I started to wonder if it would ever get better. I think it just did. Tell the other Rangers, the ambassadors, everyone in the Army of Light that Babylon 5 stands with you. Tell them that from this place we will deliver notice to the parliaments of the conquerors that a line has been drawn against the darkness, and we will hold the line no matter the cost.
No matter the cost.
Yeah, I was going to mention.
Got my vote.
I was going to mention the thing about them really emphasizing Babylon 5 as being the center of this whole thing. That's it. I'd like to hear everyone's reaction to that, because that's a pretty darn bold statement, given that Sheridan's official position could be he could be out of there at any second, right? He's working for EarthGov at this point. And so what do you guys think about that? I mean, this was really ramping it up, right? I mean, I'd like to hear everyone's perspective on.
He could certainly be stripped of his command. That could be, if this conspiracy ever, that he's a part of this. I don't want to use the word cabal because it's not a bad conspiracy. But this group that he has been aligned with his former commanding officer, the one,
General Haig.
Yep. General Haig, yeah. And others, because he's got that type of connection. So that's one of the connections, obviously, he's got. But if Ertum was to suspect that he's a party to that, his command could be in jeopardy, or if the Psychops, for that matter, Psychor, and if Bester in that group, they may try to push him out. Of course, they've already tried a couple of times to sideline him.
Well, remember at this juncture point, what is on Babylon 5 that wasn't there before? Night Watch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
What's Night Watch's duty?
Yeah, see something, say something, basically.
Say something right back to Earth, not to Sheridan.
They're the big brother of Babylon 5.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Keffer is part of that group. So.
No, not Keffer.
No.
Zach.
Zach.
Yeah.
Zach, yeah.
So, but this has gone from some talking between Delenn and Kosh, and then a cryptic message from Sinclair, to Garibaldi and such. So you kind of had these little sprinklings of this, and now suddenly it's coalesced into, we actually have an organization here, and we have a declared base of operations and a declared purpose, really. Rather than just kind of this nebulous thing that's been growing for the last 2 seasons of, we're kind of watching out, these weird things are happening. Did anyone else get that feel, or is it just me? To me, this is like, man, this is really off to the races now.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that this is big. I mean, this is almost Sheridan declaring rebellion from Earth. Like, he's almost set up his own little, not quite a government. I mean, remember, he's a captain. He's a senior officer in the military. Right. He's one step below admiral. He's a big wig on their probably most, one of their most prominent positions. And he's basically said, hey, I'm going to do, we're almost our own government. Like, captains of space stations don't get to decide that, they're going to go into a secret war.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not normally anyway.
He's definitely out ahead of his skis.
He's way.
He's definitely.
This is something.
Well, no. Remember one thing that he has an advantage that most of the others do not have. He's a highly decorated soldier, the only man that ever defeated a Minbari cruiser.
That doesn't matter. He's not going to be allowed to declare war on behalf of Earth.
No,
the president's going to be pissed.
It has nothing to do with war against Earth.
Well,
it has to do with
what he's done.
No, what he's doing is he's putting together this coalition. What is it going to be beyond that? I mean, that's the thing we have to wait for.
Well, it's still secret. Also,
it's a secret.
This is
Remember, it's still a secret. No, Earth doesn't know this, and not all. And they're keeping this. If Earth found out this very minute, there would be cruisers coming out of the freaking jump gates.
Oh yeah. Probably the Agamemnon.
Everybody on Babylon 5 would be arrested and thrown in jail.
Like,
exactly.
This
so
is
what
way
he's
beyond,
doing is he's keeping
this
this
way beyond
quiet.
what he's supposed to be doing as a captain of Babylon 5.
Right, but that's an important development because he even though what you're saying is true, and publicly he can't do that. He's declared himself on this. Not to mention his discussion with Jakar, which we can get to. He's all in at this point.
Well, that's something that we should get to that once we go through the Jakar.
I think he probably is within his purview to make Jakar to give Jakar sanctuary. I think that's perfectly fine.
That's fine
because and that is public, and Londo. If it wasn't, Londo knows.
Well,
they all know that he's allowed to do that. Otherwise, Londo would complain about it. Of course, Londo doesn't know about the conspiracy.
Let's cover that in detail.
The Narn, the whole Narn thing.
Well, but before we do that, though, does anybody, any of our other guests have, and Jeff, our regular co-host, do any of you guys, Snob and I talked about it. Do any of the rest of you have any other comments about this development?
Could I just add? I think we're talking two things here. One, you've got what's happening in Earth with Sheridan being part of this. They call it conspiracy of light. And then secondly, you've got what Sheridan's been told about, which is he's going to be fighting legends and the threat of the shadows. I always felt with this scene, Sheridan was referring to the shadows, not Earth. And it was, we're drawing a line here. If these shadows are going to come out and they're going to attack, we are drawing a line. This is it. You're going to go no further. We're going to stand against you. And again, all of this is being done in secret, so nothing is being done officially. With the relationship of the Rangers and Earth, I don't think that's really discussed. I don't think he's planning to use the Rangers against Earth or declare on Earth's behalf. He's merely stating, Kosh has been training me to deal with these shadows, and we're making a stand here and now.
Excellent. Just let me. So, a captain in the Army is not a senior officer. Junior officers are, lieutenants to captains in the Army. Majors and above are senior officers. Captain, Sheridan is a naval captain. You're right. Earth Dome is, I don't think Straczynski is that
you didn't understand ranks
about rank structure between the Navy. He is a naval equivalent of a captain, which is one step below a general or an admiral. Captain is usually a four ranker right below naval captain. So the equivalent of an Army full colonel, which is one step below it.
But is there levels of captain?
No.
Because every isn't every fighter pilot a captain too?
No.
Like,
not a naval captain.
Well, for example, they are a little sloppy with this because you do see like the guy that was questioning him with the guy with the scar. I forget his name.
Not an Army captain.
Right. They do have different things, but basically the guys wearing the blue uniforms are fleet ranks, and they generally follow naval. So you got captain, then under that commander, then under that lieutenant commander, under that lieutenant, and then ensign. Whereas the Army guys that they've got like either some of them have green or khaki kind of colors. Would go more like lieutenant or second lieutenant, first lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, general, brigadier general. But again, it's a little sloppy. Straczynski's not quite exactly on that, according to some other third-party source material. But generally,
the doctor's father is a general, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. And he outranks Sheridan because again, like Snob or someone else mentioned that a naval captain would be an 06 in in the U.S. military, right below, like Snob said, right below brigadier general.
Yeah, and I mean, different countries have different ways of doing it. I'm familiar with some other countries. Some of them have extra ranks in there and stuff. But generally speaking, a captain would be the equivalent. A naval captain is the equivalent of a full colonel. Mm-hmm. And then the next rank on those would be the general ranks, which would be, brigadier general and up. And on the naval side, the first rank is commodore, which is basically the first general officer, and then they go into usually
rear admiral,
which I don't
rear admiral, the admiral ranks.
I don't think we have commodores in the U.S. anymore.
I think it's more of a position. I think it's more of a position thing. It is kind of a nebulous rank, though. It's not.
Yeah, it's kind of. It's like an honorary type promotion type thing or something. I don't know. I was reading about it, but
Sheridan is a captain, which would be a full colonel. Ivanova is now a commander, which is which would be a short colonel, a lieutenant colonel, and then.
But she's part of the Army of Light too, right? So
yeah, before that she was a lieutenant commander, which would be equivalent to a major. Right. And it is kind of weird because she was a lieutenant commander, and then there's this other guy in the thing who's a major, and I'm like, well, that's technically the same rank. in my view. And this guy was under her, so I'm not sure what Straczynski was doing, but I think
you got to remember one thing about this, about Sinclair and Sheridan, which they're both they commanded the station. Yes, they're both in captains of in the military, but they have a specialty, sort of an ambassadorial situation here because they're running the station, and also they are part of, and they'd be able to negotiate deals, which normally you would have an ambassador to do that. No, they've given that job to Sinclair and Sheridan in this series.
Yeah.
Well,
he's like a colony governor.
Exactly.
You could be the captain of a ship without being the rank of captain.
True,
yes, but he is the rank.
Sheridan is actually a captain. Yeah.
Yeah, Sheridan actually is a captain. Sinclair was not, though. Did he get promoted?
Right. No.
So,
and I mean, you're correct, though. I mean, he has certain by being a captain within the military and the Navy, he has certain ranks and privileges and things that he's when he's commanding the Babylon 5 as a military. Some aspects of it military. Now, he has additional responsibilities, additional authority by the fact that it's a space station. And he's, the governor and that kind of stuff. So that's why we had this discussion, I don't know, last year or part of this season. And, the discussion about, Sheridan doesn't want to be, in this job. And I'm like, well, look, this is a way bigger deal for his career than just being the captain of a ship. I mean, it might be nice to have your own little ship and do whatever you want and everything, but this is way, way more responsibility. And, he's, if he does a good job, he'll jump ahead of his peers for the next plum posting by doing a good job here. So, yeah.
Mr.
Okay.
Garibaldi.
So all that being said, which is
we killed that.
But it's good to discuss because kind of you understand more about where his position is in regards to Earth Force, at least. Okay, so do we want to talk about the Narn and Centauri plots at this point?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, we don't want to talk about those. Let's just finish it.
Okay. All right.
What?
Well, if
Come
you guys
on.
decided that,
Come on, this is the important part. This is key here.
I'll light the fuse on these, and then I'll let other people talk. How about that?
That sounds great.
Okay, so basically, we've got the two different sides. We got Londo is on Centauri Prime talking to Rifa, and we find out a little bit that the Emperor is out partying with the people, or going on his goodwill tour, and then we have Jakar and his uncle discussing the plot, as Snob mentioned in the preview. So we're seeing the two sides of this, both going at it in their own angle, and Rifa's got big plans.
The Emperor is clearly a puppet,
right? Which that's
heavily implied in this episode. That
yeah, and Rifa meant from the beginning Rifa was like, yeah, we've got our guy ready to be put in there. I mean they groomed, not in the modern sense of grooming, but basically got him prepared to be slotted into this position.
Now,
if they put him in there, they could take him out.
Now, Justine, who's the uncle, is played by William Morgan Shepherd. Now, if you don't familiar with that name, you go back to season 1, the Soul Hunter.
Soul Hunter. Yep.
Oh, really? So. Oh, yeah. He did appear in 2 episodes, at least.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in various Star Trek roles, we have to mention Star Trek by contrast.
Oh, which speaking of people, we probably should mention the passing of June Lockhart, because she was in the show.
Yeah, we did mention on Top Lofty, but yeah, that's a good note.
Yeah. She passed away 100 years old. So, wow. I mean,
good run.
Yeah. I'm hoping I can keep up with that. I don't think so, but
I wanted to mention that. I noticed like Rifa. We see it's pretty obvious. We see him at the beginning. He's stroking the chair.
Yep.
Like he owns it, and then he actually does sit down, and it gets pretty comfortable when he's talking to Londo. He's not very
runs better sometimes when the Emperor's not here too, doesn't it?
Yeah, he mentions that.
Yeah. I mean, so long as Rifa remains in charge, the Emperor's got no power at all.
Did he call himself a regent? I think he did, right?
I think it was implied.
It was implied.
I thought he actually
became an emperor.
He used the word regent. I believe, at one point.
A region is usually only used if the emperor is young and not of age.
Right.
Is the emperor? I always thought the emperor was, a son, right? But he was of age. Am I wrong or what?
He was the nephew, I think,
Nephew.
of the
Carthago
previous
was the nephew of the original emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he underage? Is he under 18 type of thing?
No.
We haven't seen him, right?
No, you haven't seen him yet.
No,
Yeah.
not yet.
Yeah, but he
We'll
is
be
young,
introduced
though.
soon.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I
he's
assumed he was young, but still in his 20s or 30s, something like that.
Yeah.
Like young compared to, but not underage where he would need a regent.
Whereas Rifa is now, maybe not as old as Londo, but certainly far more ambitious than Londo has been in his more recent career,
and seemingly very comfortable with everything he's doing. He's like on top of the world, right? I mean, as shown in this episode.
And
Well,
it has. Go ahead.
He mentions, I was able to convince the generals that we should do this plan. It seems like Rifa's plan. He's executing it and convincing people left, right. And go along. It's like he's running the show.
Well, he's clearly pulling strings, and in a.
Is he the prime minister? Maybe because
no, he's not the prime minister.
Okay,
No.
is there a prime minister at this point?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you haven't met him yet. But the emperor always has a prime minister.
Because the last one I forget. Because the last one was killed. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, you know what?
But the prime minister
would committed suicide. They pulled a Clinton on him.
Yeah, they did. The prime minister would be under Rifa's control anyway. So the court, for all intents and purposes, is a puppet court. Rifa's the one in charge in Centauri Prime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. According to his plot, he's basically succeeded in his coup.
Oh, he has. Yeah, and he's very clever. He's not putting himself in the firing line. He's controlling from within the shadows, as it were.
That was my impression as well.
On the other hand, he is part of their their Congress or whatever, though, right? Because we heard from the episode with Londo's friend with Urza that Rifa introduced the
motion.
The motion against him. Now maybe he doesn't have to be part of the Congress, but I'm under the impression that he's part of that assembly.
Yeah.
Well, my impression was that the Centauri have something like in the UK, like the House of Lords, and all the various, houses, important houses would have representation on there. Similar to the way Dune has that as well. But a House of Lords, so that all of the various houses of Centauri could, can introduce things, but how powerful they are or how much ability they have to do things depends on their own sort of personal power. And Rifa being so close to the, everyone knowing that he's close to the emperor, he would have, additional power that, wouldn't normally, it wouldn't be, it would be acknowledged by everybody as, but it's not anywhere on paper.
Being an emperor or being an empire, I think the lords would be very much like probably the House of Lords that, when they were at a height of their power before, the regular parliament. I could foresee that they are the ones really in charge, that no emperor can ascend to the throne without their power or without their support, and likewise they could be dispatched with at the will of the lords of the Centauri Republic. So interesting that they call themselves a republic, but yet they have lords.
I know.
The irony there is kind of like, what?
I think that's again with what, PB is talking about, writers not knowing what the hell is the difference between, and just saying, Straczynski saying, oh, republic, that sounds good. This will be a Narn something, and this has to be a republic, and this can be a autocracy, we'll call it.
Well, in the real world, it's similar. You have democratic republics that are dictatorships in our world.
Yeah, that's true. Right?
Yeah.
North Korea is like the Democratic
themselves.
Republic of Korea or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at just Rome, and we've made comparisons between them to Rome in the late stages of the Roman Empire, as well as to Russia during the you could go to where the Tsar fell, or to when the Soviet Union fell. So that comparison does kind of, they kind of cease to be, Rome ceased to be a republic once they put, a Caesar up, but I'm sure they still claim to be a republic.
Yeah.
Well, you remember something that Lord Rifa and the conversation Lord Rifa and Londo had talked about when we were talking about the mass drivers, that basically there was treaties in order that you couldn't use them. And I love Lord Rifa's put on there that it's ink on a page on there. But there is a parallel in our history. It's at the time Germany invaded Belgium at the beginning of World War I in 1914. Which it was in a direct violation of the Treaty of London of 1839.
Yeah.
And the ambassador of Britain had warned the German chancellor, was it Theobald von Bremen, that Britain would go to war in response to it. And the chancellor dismissed the treaty as a scrap of paper.
Yeah, well, and the bad guy from WW2, he as well violated the Treaty of Versailles. In fact, one of the things that he did was destroy the wasn't there like a caboose or something where
where it was signed,
and that was one of the things that he deliberately destroyed to kind of prove a point. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to take Straczynski making some commentary on the real world, that's about what these agreements are worth. As long as everyone agrees to go along with them, they're great. Until someone doesn't, then worthless.
Yeah.
So now, interestingly enough, though, maybe I should save this till we get into that actual part. But it brings up the question of why isn't there a stronger response? Like in Dune, for example, the whole thing is they all have atomic weapons. All the great houses have atomic weapons, and it's like, well, if you use them, you're all going to get the others using them on you. And as we saw here, there was no
mutual assured destruction.
Reaction. Yeah, right. And
Earthsome did not respond, and the Minbari did not respond. At least not in the capacity, other than saying, "We object to this," or we,
Yeah, they put, they objected. But the problem you have, and I think this is one of the messages we get through this. An agreement is only an agreement if you all agree to it, or it can be enforced. And none of the other empires, other nations, none of them had the will to enforce that against the Centauri. So it's just ink on a page. Yeah. Well, the Centauri can do whatever they want, but if Earth and the Minbari aren't going to team up together and use force to enact that treaty, the treaty is meaningless.
Right. And it's a good point. But also, we don't know. I mean, this happens, I believe it's only 4 days between the use of mass drivers till Londo's speech and the surrender of the Narn. So, that's not, is that enough time for, I mean, could be enough, but
I mean, they were
pounding
actively bombarding for 4 days. I mean,
6 months. This battle has been going on. I mean, the war has been going on for 6 months. That would,
but not the illegal use of mass drivers. That's only
the mass drivers. Yeah.
Originally, you have to remember the war on Narn, the original one, the first one, was a devastation also, and they were still building back for it. You could say that this is like the Tokyo in a Godzilla movie, where Godzilla just ran over the whole place, and suddenly it's 3 years later, here comes Godzilla all over again, to wreck what they already fixed.
Yeah.
Well, it's only been 10 years.
Do a
little longer than that.
I think it's been longer than that, but yeah. Do we want to go back and discuss the details of, again, because we're kind of seeing behind the scenes for both of these. So Rifa's intelligence services, I guess, legitimately intercepted the Narn plan. It didn't seem like there was any Londo action there, meaning nothing from the shadows. They just beat them in terms of.
Are we sure? Are the shadows maybe feeding Rifa some info?
That's a good question.
There always would be another, right? And there might be more.
Yeah,
but if Londo doesn't play ball with the shadow, maybe we need to get.
We didn't see it from Londo, I guess, is my point.
I was going to say what we did get from Londo was when he was sitting the window scene, when he's on the ship and seeing them using the mass drivers and seeing his his look in he was seriously regretting, having some regrets, which kind of contradict his speech that he gives in front of the whatever you call it, the council or whatever, because he becomes much more of a firebrand, with all these demands, So.
Yeah, well, so leading up to that, we've got this debate between Londo and Rifa, and so I'm going to suggest that Rifa is signaling to the viewer within this episode that he's telling Londo and us that he needs his friends to take this action, basically to defend the supply depot, and destroy the Narn fleet. And Londo, as Snob mentioned, is expressing reticence about that, but finally agrees to it. So I'm thinking if Rifa had another avenue to make that happen,
he would have.
He would be like, screw you, I don't need you anymore. So that.
I think it's interesting, Londo's response, which is, if we're to take back our place in the galaxy, we've got to eventually do it ourselves, and stop relying on the shadows. If Rifa had links into the shadows, he wouldn't have involved Londo, because he now owes Londo.
But the thing is that this is perfect, though, because they can, it's the Centauri who attacked the Narn homeworld, and nobody knows who defends Gorash. I mean, and even the Narn don't know what happened at Gorash, other than they went there and they got completely wiped out because nobody comes back.
But you got to look. You have to look at Londo's eyes at this point. When he was on the ship and the mass drivers are being fired off, and then later on, where he's hearing the report from ISN, he's getting that feeling, and this is coming back to episode 9, The Coming of Shadows, that nightmare he had, which basically, in his nightmare, he says the only way this is going to end is the end of Narn itself. And then, you see all those parallel dreams that he's having, that the shadows are over some place where he's looking up and the shadows are going there, and hand reaching out into the galaxy itself, which is going back to the techno mages,
right?
Where they told him, they said, there's a hand reaching out, and then they're calling your name, and he says, "Oh, my followers." He says, "No, your victims."
Yeah.
And how that, and you can see that that's hitting him now.
Yeah, I noted. I recall making note of that back then and saying, "Just wait." and so I'm very excited by this episode, because this is at least a partial fulfillment of that.
Is he compartmentalizing, you think?
I don't. Well, that's a good question. I mean, in his actions, he is, but I think the viewers are being shown what's going on in Londo's head, and it's a very. I'm glad you brought that up, because we're seeing the contrast, the very clear contrast, right? He's horrified when he's watching the bombardment of Narn, because he's intellectually aware of what devastation that's causing. And even though he talks tough, and he's talked about essentially genociding the Narn, he doesn't feel that good about it. Just the same way when they first used the shadows, and he's like, "What?" It's like he was taken aback that his mouthy wish actually was acted
came to
on.
fruition.
Yeah. But he keeps doing it. It's like and so
and he plays the part in the council.
Yeah, we need to talk about that in detail. But
I think we're seeing two parts of Londo here. One, his private part, when he's looking out the window, when he's seeing what's happening, you're seeing true Londo. And then secondly, his public
persona.
He's in the council. He knows that's probably being watched by people like Rifa and the other great houses. He has to put on that performance. He has to show them he is worthy of this new order. And he is on board with what they're doing. Otherwise, he opens himself up to being taken out, similar to his friend.
Right.
But it's in his eyes that you have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Because it's like he's saying these things, like that anger that he had at the council. But when you're looking at his eyes directly, it's like he's almost like, what am I doing? I'm on a train that basically, is out of control at this point.
Yeah,
you definitely see that when Jakar's giving his speech, and you got a camera shot through Jakar with Lando in the background, and you can just see it there.
Yeah, let's.
It's a great shot.
Before we talk about that, I really want to hear everyone's opinion on that. But he's got a tiger by the tail, right? And first of all, fantastic acting job by Peter Jurassic in this. I mean, absolutely top notch. And I've mentioned before that I love Lando as a character. Obviously a lot of things not to like about him as a person, but fabulous character. Right. And I'm bursting with excitement to see, that we're finally getting into it, really full bore.
Yeah. Straczynski in that one commentary, the episode of commentary that I watched a few times, he said that Peter Jurassic is or Jurassic, I think is the way he made not to be confused with Jurassic Park, that he is God is the way he described him. He said he's he was talking about the different actors, and he just said he was God.
Yeah, he really deserves all the credit for that. But what I'd like to mention before we get to the council scene is the scene where he arrives back on Babylon 5, where with Garibaldi, and it's staged very well because you see the guards around him, and he's kind of strutting in with like this defiant look on his face, which I thought just that alone was well played. But then he has this conversation with Garibaldi, and again, the acting there is very good too, because I mean the look on Garibaldi's face, it's just like, again, because he and Lando have a pretty strong relationship, right? And you could just tell he's just biting his tongue, like saying he's seen insights into Lando, right? He knows that this is not right even for Lando,
this is not the Lando I know.
Right, exactly. And
you think that I didn't see him as biting his tongue so much, but I saw Garibaldi more as, partly resigned, partly, incredulous that he would do this, partly disappointed.
Disappointed, I think.
That kind of feeling.
Well, once again, the usage of the eyes. It's look at the upper face motion, the contours of the face, the way he's looking at Lando, and Lando looking back at him. The same thing with Lando in the council.
And kind of like Garibaldi's kind of almost side-eyeing him, he's like looking at, and Lando is respectful to Garibaldi, but Snob, you said he was clearly biting his tongue. He didn't say, "What the hell are you doing? You just committed an atrocity." I mean, but you're right about the other things. Yeah, he is like, it's like he's
Garibaldi wouldn't. I don't think Garibaldi was. It's very public, right? He's come
on with Garibaldi acted properly in his position.
Yeah, they're all playing their parts.
Yeah, but again, he's like, have security, whatever, until this blows over, and da 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 da. And Lando's like, well, thank you, and then he calls for the meeting, But I mean, again, what they didn't say is far more important than what they did, right? They were talking business. But man, the gravity of the whole situation between those two actors was portrayed extremely well.
You look at the relationship Garibaldi's always had with Lando, lending him money for his gambling debts. Even from season 1, we see Lando as the shadow of a person. Episode 1, where his I think it's his nephew gets captured by the Narn and is forced to make these statements that they gave control of their colony over to the Narn, and now. You jump ahead to 2 seasons, and that whole relationship is shifted around. And Lando's no longer this broken person. He's this powerful person. He's not the person Garibaldi first knew and helped and was a friend to. I think with Garibaldi, we know Garibaldi. He's always suspicious. He's always looking at the angles. He's always trying to think, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to get over? Are you actually being honest with me? And I think what we're seeing in Garibaldi is he's looking at Lando and he doesn't know what he's seeing anymore. The person he thought he understood is not the person he sees in front of him.
Well,
And the thing about it is, he's been warned. Veer has warned him. The techno mages have warned him. You know, the emperor who passed away warned him. To all these points,
he
and
kind
still
of warned himself too, because
he warned himself too in his dreams.
Yes,
as well.
he doesn't
He's aware
really
of it.
want to use the shadow, right? He's aware.
He's
Right,
aware
but
of that. He
but
hasn't seen the
he's
forces
doing
yet.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
his whole statement, like, "Oh, this is going to be the last time." It's like, can you? I mean, does everyone see that? It's like everyone who has addiction or bad habits. No, oh no, just this last one. You know, and it'll be different next time.
Yeah, one more time.
It's like, yeah,
Just one more time.
man,
just one more.
had great
Just one more.
impact. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean,
Pow-
I
okay,
remember
sorry,
saw
I'm-
that.
again,
When he
I'm
said
gaga
that,
over that.
being
I mean, well, no, that
being
that
a
end
virgin,
scene with him, where he's hearing on ISN, they're saying that the Centauri are now moving into smaller worlds and taking them over, and he's like sitting there.
But they're not expanding. There's no.
It's a buffer zone. Nothing more. Nothing more. Just a buffer zone.
Yeah, we've heard that in history. Yeah, it's a
just
buffer
a little
zone.
living
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, Poland. It's a buffer zone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we want to get to the council scene?
Could we cover Jakar before the council scene?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
His entrance to ask
Dean,
for sanctuary.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
I think you should cover that. That's
now
important.
I know two of you have seen this episode for the very first time, and I'm interested to know what you thought of that scene.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Jakar when he makes the entrance in
to Captain Sheridan's, yeah.
Oh, well, of course. What we haven't mentioned is that Snob mentioned that that he asked for sanctuary. What we didn't mention was he was ordered to ask for sanctuary because he's part of the is it the Kari? Is that right?
Kari. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last order from the Kari.
So he is. Yeah, that was his last order was to request sanctuary, and I think that was the moment when he kind of broke. I think that's what, particularly when he had to go in and he had to request sanctuary because he knew that otherwise his life was forfeit.
Yeah,
because and he was ready to go. He was like, I need to come back.
Yeah, I think he would have preferred to come back.
To fight or whatever, and they're
they're
like. There's probably millions of Narns abroad.
It's easier to go and die gloriously than to keep on fighting from such a disadvantageous position.
Yeah, well, and they need to, they need someone that they can look to as somebody who will lead them into the future after being decimated the way they were. He effectively is. I don't want to say he's like a Moses figure, but in a way they are setting him up to. He's got to lead these broken people through the wilderness.
I think. I think the Moses. It could be true. He could become that, but they're definitely, at the very least, it's a government in exile. It's the French government in exile, and it's the start of fighting back.
And I mean the demands that the Centauri put on there. What was there, like 3 or 4 demands, and and this was any murder of what they
500 dead for one Centauri.
500 to 1,
including the perpetrator's family.
Yeah, especially the perpetrator's family. That's right there. That's a clear war crime in any civilization.
Snob, I'm gonna disagree with you that this is not a government in exile. It's far less than that. They are devastated far beyond that. They have nothing. Jakar is more like
citizen Jakar.
But it's the start. It's the start of a government in exile.
He's a broken man, but
if Jakar were to die, or to go back, be arrested and tried and stuff like that, the comeback of the Centauri are going to be pushed, way back, because he is a figure. He's a member of the Kari. He is legitimately a lightning rod to bring all that the eventual, reconquering of Narn and the rise of his people. It's obviously, can be done through him. But if he doesn't exist, if he's dead, then that sets that back a lot. So
certainly, no doubt that him being there and appointed to that role is very important. I'm saying he's more like a torchbearer, though, like the guy that's barely keeping anything alive.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not officially. It can't be a government in exile because.
Londo puts an end to that very quickly
Yeah.
and makes that very clear, right?
Yeah, have we heard of him being referred to as Kyrie before?
I think
so.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure we have. Yeah.
I mean, we've long suspected that he was more than just an ambassador.
Yeah,
and we've seen a lot of evidence to that. So the question is he now effectively he effectively is the leader of their rebellion?
He's the last of the
That's
Kari.
my point.
Yeah, he's left. He's all that's left.
Yeah,
and that's my point. He's the legitimately highest ranking. I mean, he doesn't have any official rank, but the Narns aren't gonna. The Narns are gonna see him that way, right?
They're gonna look to him. Yeah,
and other Earth governments, I would assume, if they are not supportive of what the Centauri have done, will see him that way as well.
Well, that's the big question, because that was one of the others. The Centauri have officially disbanded the Kari, and that they because of that, and because the Narn are now occupied subjects, I guess, of the Centauri Republic, that they will dictate the government and that the Narns are going to have, and they will appoint whoever they see fit to put in there, and yada yada yada. So
see that, and that's the thing is with Jakar, Citizen Jakar at this point, is that it's not they're putting a sort of rebellious government together, is that, and the reason why the Kari wants him there is because basically his people, and you saw what happened when it came over ISN that the Narn homeworld was getting pounded into oblivion. What happened? There was a riot fight.
Yeah,
in the Sokolo.
The only free Narns are on Babylon 5, right?
Well, no, but
all the rest of them are under the Centauri.
Well, I'm not sure. Well, officially, but they could be other ones living in other places.
Yeah, they're living in exile because remember they've had the underground, railroad, and that's where they've been.
Yeah, but the Centauri, but as a group, right? Like, these are and the Centauri moved to take over the smaller worlds around the Narn homeworld to consolidate afterwards. So basically, the Narn Empire has ceased to exist.
Yeah, but you have a lot of
everybody
people
is
that were
under
injured
unless you're on Earth, unless you're a Narn living on Earth or Mimbar or somewhere else, which no one lives on Mimbar, right? Except Mimbari. But unless you're living on some other planet that wasn't a Narn planet, then you are, the Narns on Babylon 5 are the only free Narns.
Right.
Yeah, it's like someone said in the chat there, it's scattered exiles throughout the galaxy right now, because they can't go back home. If they go back home, they're going to be under the thumb of the Centauri.
Yeah. Does someone want to go through in detail the council meeting? And I mean, we've kind of touched on it.
Before we do that, are we good with Jakar going to Sheridan? Are we discussed?
I think so. I felt that was a very powerful scene.
It was.
I thought acting with all that makeup and conveying all those emotions was incredible.
He was humbled. He
absolutely.
Broken.
Yeah,
broken.
Very different from Jakar we see in episode 1 of season 1.
He seemed broken to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yes.
Good. All right. Go ahead, Cam.
Well, I don't want to do it necessarily. I want someone else to have a chance to go through it. But I would like to, the detail. It's basically a back and forth between Sheridan and Londo, mostly Londo, and Delenn kind of chimes in a little bit.
Yeah, so Londo's giving the terms of the surrender.
Right, he's announcing it. Basically.
He's announcing it. So the Kari's disbanded. They'll all be arrested and stand trial. at that point, Sheridan and Delenn say they want to send observers, and Londo immediately comes back saying denied, and then just continues.
Yeah, that was it was just like, your request is denied. It's just like,
There's no negotiation, no discussion. Right. That's it. Then he went on to talk about the murder, the execution of 500 Narns if any one Centauri is killed, including the perpetrator's family. And then it's this we're doing a great deed here. We're helping here because we're going to rebuild a more civilized government. You know, we're going to help them understand how to live in a proper civilized society.
Well, you know, it's funny because he starts at the beginning. He says, you know, when the Narn, you know, wrongfully attacked us, and blah blah blah. Right?
They declared 6 months ago. They declared on us. They were the aggressor. Yeah,
he totally sets the narrative.
Terrorists.
Yeah, and he totally sets the narrative, and then now we're going to be helpful, and we're going to help them become civilized because they are uncivilized barbarians because they attacked us first. Which
and then you have this,
actually was the shadows.
Yeah,
we know the truth.
And then you have this powerful moment where he turns to Jakar and says for the first time, "Citizen Jakar," you know, as the last remaining member of the Kari that's unaccounted for. You know, you're not an ambassador. You don't talk for your people, and you know we're going to arrest you, and
leave the council.
Yeah, leave the council.
Well,
and you got
Sheridan
the captain.
Steps in then.
Sheridan and Delenn step in. Sheridan primarily to say, no, you're going to need someone who the Narn recognize as an authority figure.
Yep.
And it's Londo's reaction where he just says, now, and at that point, you just got the camera looking at everybody. I even see within Kosh that kind of nervousness as the encounter suit's just watching Londo at that point.
Well, I think we skipped a little bit there. There was multiple steps to it, wasn't there? That you know, he walks like he's standing right in front of Jakar, who's just sitting there with his head down, and he basically says, "Yeah, you're going to be shipped out. You're going to be arrested." And then Sheridan says, "No, he has sanctuary."
That's right. Yeah.
And Londo didn't know that at that point, right? And then Londo kind of is like, okay, you know, I mean, he realizes he doesn't, you know, just like he was asserting his authority.
Sheridan
asserted his right, and then Delenn backed him up on it.
Can I jump into there for a second?
People.
Well, let me give you the exact words to this. Captain Sheridan, I'm afraid that's not possible. Prior to the meeting, Ambassador Jakar asked for sanctuary on Babylon 5. As it is within my province to make such a decision, I agree. Londo Mollari. Surrender by all members of the Kari is stipulated in the Narn Centauri agreement. Sheridan, well, I'm sure it is, but I didn't sign that agreement, Ambassador. Neither did Earth. Delenn, as co-sponsor of the Babylon 5, the Minbari government supports this decision. The neutrality of this station applies even to the wishes of the Centauri. Citizen Jakar may remain here for as long as he chooses.
Yep.
Yeah, and then it was, you know, so that was them kind of making their power play, right? And then Londo accepts it, but then Sheridan, then Londo says, fine, but he's not part of this council, you know, and Sheridan tries to, you know, again, step in. And then that's when Londo, screams. He's like, nah, you know, get rid of him now.
No.
Yeah, it was excellent. And Dean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on your
Oh,
point.
no, you didn't. I kind of jumped a few steps there, but powerful scene.
Yeah, and I agree with your assessment of it. It was it was shocking, right? To see, I mean, Londo again, who's been, you know, flexing his muscles. We've never seen him, I don't think, at that level of aggression.
Yeah.
And then have everybody react to it like, crap, we can't do anything about this. You know, I mean, it showed who was really in control of that situation. But I love the back and forth of it. You know, that was well played by everyone.
Yeah. And then also note that if you notice that Londo was like, normally they sit on that, like they sit at the front, the five, you know, four, they sit at the front on that sort of, you know, half moon table. Yeah. And he's sitting to the, like, he's not sitting in his usual spot. Delenn and Sheridan are in their spots. Londo's walking around doing his speech, so he's not in his spot. But Jakar is sitting over the side. It's like a chair. Somebody pulled a spare chair, and they sort of sit it beside the table. And
not a very
he
big
sits
chair
on
either.
there. Yeah, not a comfortable chair.
Well,
Crappy
I think
one. It's like
that was
he's like the
symbolic
little
of what
kid
was
in the
going on
corner
there.
with the dunce cap, right? Like already he knows what's going to happen. He knows that he's
not even looking up. I mean,
he doesn't
he's
deserve
kind of
to sit at the table
looking-
anymore, or doesn't feel he should, or something.
And then, if I may put this point, what he says at this juncture, no dictator, no invader can hold an imprisoned population by force of arms forever. There is no greater power in the universe than the need for freedom. Against the power of governments and tyrants and armies cannot stand. The Centauri learned this lesson once. We will teach it to them again. Though it may take 1,000 years, we will be free.
Yeah.
Now, did anybody's hair in the back of their neck just go straight up?
Well, it clearly was designed to elicit that kind of response. I mean,
when I first saw it, I was like, "Holy shit!"
We will be free, regardless.
I think it's what's most interesting about that. First of all, I think this is probably the best speech in the season for sure. Like it's better than Sheridan's speech, which we're going to talk about, which we talked about with the Army of Light.
Yeah.
It's it's a Londo's speech isn't really it's a speech, but it's not. It doesn't have that weight. This is it's got a great weight, and it's interesting because we see him, his head is bowed down, and Londo's screaming at him, and it's like I don't think we see it, but it's like something switches. He's broken, and then he stands up and he gives this. It's like he's decided, no, I'm not going to give up. I am going to fight, and he stands up and gives this very powerful speech.
Yeah.
Once again, the eyes, the look on Jakar's face when he says, "We will be free."
The framing of that was very good because Londo is, you're seeing it from the side of Jakar for the most part, and Londo is in, it's kind of straight onto the shot, and the look on his face is just like, he's got this, growl. And what's funny is that Londo kept his mouth shut though for that, he wasn't barking at him like he had just done to Sheridan.
Didn't interrupt.
Right. Which is strange. But I'm not saying strange in a bad way for the story. I think it was very powerful that it was as if Londo was not capable of stopping him. You know what I'm saying? At that point, it's like, he's doing what he can do, but he can't.
He almost wasn't expecting that response.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
he was expecting him to just be the broken man that we've seen him be, and so far at this point.
Well,
and
I got a sense of a lot of regret from Londo during that scene, and I think
excellent point.
Yeah, he allowed Jakar to speak because the two, as much as they've been at heads with each other, there's a lot of respect between the two.
Yeah, and it also. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I almost feel like this was Londo being able to, knowing he was being watched from home, allow Jakar to speak without him having to put his mask back on. And you can see in his eyes that regret for everything that has happened and why they're now where they are.
Yeah,
you're seeing Londo was about to say something.
Londo should interrupt.
Stopped, and he stopped.
Londo, this is a very powerful speech. Londo should interrupt to try to take away some of the power of it and minimize it and try to disrupt it, something like that. So, but he doesn't. He can't.
Well, I think that's
for
what
whatever
Dean
reason
was pointing at is Londo's having this internal battle with himself.
Yeah,
that we've seen going back and forth. Well. Yeah, excellent point.
Yeah, and the speech that Jakar gives, I remember watching it for the first time. It was powerful. When I did the rewatch, I watched it again yesterday just to get my notes fully sorted. It's one of those speeches that even now, in fact, I think now it is probably more powerful and more relevant to where we are in the world and that shows great writing. Writing should transcend culture and times and be applicable no matter when you read it. And I think it's one of those speeches which applies. It applied back in because we know he draws a lot of analogies from World War II. It applied back then, and I think it applies even more now today.
Definitely.
Agreed.
That's some of you guys are gonna be copying this speech to your governments later.
Well,
I couldn't possibly comment.
I mean,
No, really, I can't.
I can't.
It was an excellent speech, but at the same time, and I completely understand what you guys are saying about that and the relevance of it. But at the same time, I'm sitting there going, a bit of a skeptic. I'm saying, yeah, but I mean, meaning the hopelessness of it is coming through as well to me as a viewer. I can't deny that part of it. That I'd love to believe it's like, take this back, right? But yeah. I'm also feeling the hopelessness of it.
Yeah, but it's the kind of speech that 100 years from now, when kids in Narn are studying the war and how we came back to overthrow the evil Centauri, people will be pointing back and say, it was Jacquard's speech to the League of Non-Aligned Worlds where he said this, and every kid will have to memorize it and that kind of stuff.
I'm gonna put in a few other episodes, I put down a marker where I've said, remember this moment, and I'm gonna just do that here in regards to 100 years in the future.
Well, remember, we could also bring this back with the movie and season 1 with Jakar and how much he has changed, and stating back that old line, no one's here is exactly what he appears.
Yeah.
All right.
How much Jakar has changed through the last 2 seasons.
Oh yeah.
Jeff, what do you think about that whole scene overall? Most of the rest of us talk a little bit more. What do you think?
Well, I think both speeches were powerful. I think Londo was almost above and beyond. He was being very forceful. I think we've addressed why. Clearly he has something to show, because, as we said, word will get back to Rifa and those folks. But Jakar's speech in particular is very striking, as people yearn to be free, and that is everyone's ultimate goal in life is for freedom, not to break off the shackles of oppression and control by others that would do you ill. And clearly that's what the Narn was suffered through for 1,000 years, and or whatever it was, 100 years. And they went from an agrarian society to a spacefaring society, and fought off their conquerors once. And now it seems like at this point they've been knocked back down. I think the phrase was used, to the Stone Age.
Yeah.
And just to see the contrast of a broken and beaten Jakar, and just the more that he's getting browbeat, it's like the dog that gets beat, so to speak. And then the dog finally has had enough and says, we're going to be free, And
now, does anybody remember Mr. Morden and Londo's interaction?
What do you want?
Where Londo goes, well, why don't you take on the whole entire non-homeworld?
Yeah.
In time.
In time.
Yeah. Well, one other thing about Jakar's speech, Madman, first of all, excellent callback there. Jakar's one of those characters, like Madman, you mentioned that he's very boisterous, for, again, season 1 and all this, out there, creating riots and things. And now, he wasn't screaming when he gave that speech, right? He was talking very softly, very deliberately. and it's
assertively though. Assertively,
right? Firm. He was very firm.
yeah.
But him doing that in contrast to being boisterous underscored what he was saying even more effectively.
Well, Londo was speaking much like, oh, I don't know, a dictator. Coming from trying to "Arr!" and whereas Jakar was like, we yearn to be free. We you know what I mean. It's like this is our fight, and if it takes us 1,000 years, we're going to do it. But
And you got to remember also, back season 1 when the Norns attacked the Gorash Agricultural Center, and then Jakar admitted it in the council. He says, "It's our time now. It's our,"
Yeah.
was that Gorash 7? Was Gorash 7 Centauri?
It was
Okay.
Was it
I don't think it was.
I'm
I'm trying to remember.
The territories are sounding the same in this.
Yeah,
in
it
this
was
series.
Londo's nephew. He managed to get him put there
yeah.
because it's out of the way. It's a quiet place.
Yeah.
Is
But
this
that
scene the best scene in season 2? The speech,
So far, yes.
the speech
by
Jakar, the speech by Londo, or that
I think all
those
three,
interactions.
to be honest,
Yeah.
were highlights. I'm surprised this was not the season finale, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it leaves on that, especially because it finishes up, the episode finishes up with Sheridan's speech, and it's like you've seen the aggressor, the Centauri Republic's position, and they're very aggressive, and we're gonna punish these people, and we're gonna commit all these atrocities, and nobody's gonna stop us. And then the victims of the Centauri, the Narns, are we are going to fight if it takes us the rest 1,000 years, and then of course the episode concludes with the with Sheridan. We're drawing a line. This is the line. The darkness. We will hold the line. It kind of almost points back to the first the pilot. The line.
Yeah, you're right. It very much does feel like a final episode. It's like setting the stage for the future, but like, okay, now we've arrived at this point. Definitely. I mean, this whole episode is definitely a turning point episode, right? I mean, it brings so much together. I can't say enough about it.
Well, remember what I said at the beginning of the season. Season 2 is an important part on it, especially the last episodes. We're down to the last 3 episodes here, and this is points where, and I said this before, they interconnect in certain ways. What is going to be what's going to happen next? Now that the war is over, what's going to happen? We heard already a piece of it at the end of it, that the Centauri are already beginning to expand.
Mm-hmm.
How far are they going to go? What's going to happen next? Are the shadows going to attack again, or what's going to happen now going on? Because we have only 2 episodes left after this, and those are the finale. Those are interconnecting finales.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different storylines going on in the show. So yeah, this was clearly the Narn Centauri, big moment.
So we still have the human side, Earth Dome's perspective and what's going on, the disruption. So the conclusion of, if you will, the Centauri War on the Narn, that's just one piece. Now you've got to see what's going to happen with the Minbari and with the Earthdom, because those 2 elements are still hanging out there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's going on with Mars and Io and the current president of whatever we call it, Earthdom.
Yep. Yeah, but you can't leave out the legal non-aligned world.
Well, I mean,
how are they going to take this part at the end of this war. What's going to
I mean,
happen
yeah.
then?
Now they're obviously going to be asking Earthdom and the Minbari for protection from the Centauri because they can see that the Centauri are aggressors. I could foresee that.
Or that they're going to try and take advantage of the situation. If their neighbors are being attacked by the Centauri, why not move in on those neighbors at the same time?
And try and ally with the Centauri?
Potentially, or just take advantage of a terrible situation.
Yep.
What we're seeing is complete and utter chaos descending on the galaxy.
Well, that's what the Shadow wants. I mean, it's like the difference between devils and demons, right? One is chaotic evil, and the other one is lawful evil, and
it really seems to be phase one of the shadow plan, the chaos plan, is complete.
Disruption of all the civilized
these two
worlds.
Major groups now, onto phase two.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about are we good on the council and everything that happens there?
I think so.
Mhm.
Next, Sheridan meets Jakar and tells him about his, he's got some respect for Jakar, and he tells him, I'm going to miss you in the council. There's one thing I wanted to talk about there, mention. I'll mention it right now. You guys can give us your thoughts. After Sheridan says what he says, he goes to shake Jakar's hand, and Jakar says, "The last time I shook someone's hand like this, we were at war 24 hours later."
Yeah.
But he still shakes his hand.
I thought that was I like that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I'm wondering what you guys thought of that scene.
Well, I took that to be Jakar, him shaking hands was not the wrong thing to do, right? Either time. So it's like, well, yeah, that didn't turn out before, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep doing the right thing.
It's honorable. It's the honorable thing to do.
Yeah. Well, Snob, this is Sheridan getting out ahead of himself again. He's saying, "Oh yeah, I'll do I'll do everything possible to help you get back your world." That's a tall order. For him to make
Especially
a promise
for a captain
like that
in the Navy.
Yeah, that was.
He said, he'll put all his resources towards all of his contacts and stuff like that. Towards.
I'm sure Jakar appreciated hearing that at that point, but I also have to say that it rings a little hollow. It's like it's begging the question. Well, and how exactly you're going to do that?
Well, he did promise previously to help, but the most help he could provide was, through the siphoning supplies and
bringing refugees back. And stuff.
We've already seen.
I think that's been a big help, though. That's been a lot.
True.
And it shows that he had, Sheridan follows up with what he says and does the best he can. And I'm sure he's earned some goodwill from Jakar for that.
And I'm
already seen the limits of it, though.
I'm inclined to think that those refugees were not on Narn territories. I think they are refugees in either Earth, Minbari, or some of the non-aligned. I do.
I think they're refugees from Narn worlds that were attacked by the Centauri.
Yeah, but I don't think that they're back on other Narn planets.
Well, I'm guessing a lot were eventually back, but many. I think it's a combination. I think not all of them, but I think they thought that Homeworld was safe. Yeah,
some of them might have gone back to there. Some of them might have gone other places. We don't, it's not.
Yeah.
Clear.
Well, we really don't know. We see in this episode just how full Medbay is with Narn still. So I think there's a lot on Babylon 5 still.
And I'm also inclined to say that Earth is not going to send them back. I don't, or at least Sheridan.
Yeah, probably not.
Them to be sent back to Narn occupied space, or Centauri occupied space.
What do you all think about? This is kind of related to this. Franklin, kind of breaking protocol here and telling Jakar, basically intelligence information.
He tipped him off. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was coming from his own people, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he's not, how is he? He's not really breaking any protocol because he's like, I got this gut feeling type of thing.
I don't think Earthdome would be happy to have one of their senior officers passing intelligence information to the
But it
Narn in the
wasn't. It
middle of a
wasn't.
war,
But it
and
wasn't
that they're
our
neutral in, right?
intelligence. It wasn't our intelligence. It was
Yeah,
something
but
from one of his. Who when Jakar asked to see the guy, he said, "Well, unfortunately, that's no longer possible." And he points back, and you see them
but it's
covering him
still.
up.
But once
I
the
mean,
doctor collects it,
a
it's now
deathbed.
collected intelligence, and now he's passing it on to a foreign power.
To be fair, I don't think Earthdome would be too impressed for a doctor running an underground railroad.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
So
Exactly.
he's got this history of
Certainly wouldn't be acceptable on Star Trek.
It's just added to the list of crimes.
Yes.
Well,
I'm just saying,
it's not,
you're not
interfering with another
allowed to,
civilization.
try that. You're not allowed to pass on foreign, intelligence. At that point, it's, Franklin, it's Earth intelligence, and it's not up to Franklin as a doctor to decide, hey, let's pass on this piece of intelligence to a foreign power. Now,
well,
again,
of course, of a dying man to relay this information.
It doesn't matter. As Umbra says, color me surprised, Franklin breaking protocol, and of course they're already knee deep in there. Sheridan's running a conspiracy against Earth government, so I mean, there is it. Does it really matter?
What color is that, Umbra?
It's like stealing a pack of gum after you've committed murder, right? Add it on there, big deal.
Yeah.
But
you got to put to the point when you look at this perspective right now in this episode that he broke protocol. Can't be the first time. You have to put that to that thought point. You if it was a situation, if this was the first time for Franklin, it would have been a situation. We would have had a scene where, like, oh God, should I tell him? I have my morals. My oath of being a doctor. We would have had something like that. But no, Franklin came straight out and was like, "Listen, there's a guy here from your world. He's saying that they've been asking him questions about your
tortured him.
They torture him for information, and they want it rapidly. To that point. So we have to look at the perspective. Has Franklin done this before? What has he done? What has he done past, or what he's going to do future? We don't know as of yet.
Yeah.
And let's make it clear. I mean, if I'm in Franklin's position, I'm fully aware that my boss Sheridan is totally against, is sympathetic to the Narn and completely unsympathetic to the Centauri. So I know I'm not going to get any trouble for doing this because my boss is, doing even worse. He's secretly, giving them food and all kinds of stuff. He's running a conspiracy against the Earth government. So, I'm not really too worried about it. But, but let's not pretend that, Earth government would be like, yeah, no problem. Doctors are not authorized to pass on intelligence they've gathered to foreign governments, I'm sure.
Yeah. I don't see it because it came from a Narn civil, a Narn that we don't know if he was civilian or military. I guess he was probably military. But
I think he was just a Narn civilian, maybe. I don't.
Yeah, but they were wanting, and the fact that he was tortured and obviously he expired. I mean, I don't see a problem with it. I don't. Maybe Eartham would, but I don't think that's. It would be different if he was going, "Hey, between you and me, Eartham picked up coded messages between the Centauri Republic, and blah blah blah." That would be a clear violation. But something a dying man said to the doctor that was treating him, passing that information on to the diplomat that's there on the station, I don't find any fault with it.
Well, let me just put a disclaimer there for anybody, any Americans watching the show. If you happen to be somewhere and you get a piece of intelligence from, something like, you got Ukrainian that wants to pass on information to you or something, I would suggest you go to your government first and tell them about it, and not just phone the local Ukrainian and tell them, "Hey, this guy told me that." You might get in trouble.
If your Ukrainian told me something about to pass on to another Ukrainian, maybe.
It won't
Or
turn
you
out
get,
well for
or
you.
you get a book deal like Ollie North.
Just for your own safety.
Yeah, I
Just for
mean,
your own
you know,
safety. You know, you don't want to go to jail for spying.
Well, in terms of the episode, I don't think that maybe they needed something for Franklin to do. I didn't like it for a number of reasons, because even Jakar was like, well, so what? You know, yeah, they're always asking about that. The operative point of it was that Jakar recognized that this was breaking the Centauri pattern. You know, they
Yeah.
operate in a certain way, and they broke that, and there had to be a good reason for it, which is what Jakar took from it. But
Yeah.
I don't think that they needed Franklin to convey that information in that way at all. I think it would have been more effective if Jakar just noticed this on his own, or you know, by some other means was put on that path.
Or even
if Jakar was in the med bay and
Franklin
you
called
know,
him over and
he
said,
was
"This
checking
guy
on his
wants to
people.
talk to you."
Yeah, maybe
He's like,
maybe
"I
that
got
would
to
have
tell
been
you
better.
something, and then I'm going to die as soon as I tell you that."
Yeah, I found it an odd scene as well, because the Centauri have just interrogated potentially a bunch of non-military people about their homeworld, and they withdraw very quickly, but they don't kill the people they've been interrogating.
Mm.
And I found that a bit odd. Centauri, they're quite happy to kill Nards, you know.
Yeah, they don't care.
And yet they leave people who've been questioned to be picked up. So
They're in
that
such
knowledge
a hurry,
can go.
though, Dean. They're in such a hurry they don't even have time to shoot them.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
felt a little bit contrived. It's about
Yeah.
the only part of this episode I felt was a little bit they're hammering the
Shoehorned a
plot.
little bit. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's about the plot rather than the logic behind the scene.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought, you know, I'm thinking
Maybe
that
they escaped or something. You know, they had to give some sort of plausibility to it.
Yeah.
Well, remember
They're
at
well
this
better ways.
point, it's Lord Rifa that's running the show at this point. This is not a standard military army that's going on there. This is somebody controlling their forces, you know, through the Emperor. You know, it's you know.
Yeah, but we
you make a
heard
good
the same
point about
episode
that,
that Rifa had to consult and convince the military guys to do this action, though.
Right.
I'm not seeing any indication that they've broken down their, you know, and the war has proceeded. I mean, Jakar noted that, meaning that they are following their regular tactics.
They're following their tactics, but you got to remember, Rifa is the one whispering in their ears at this point.
Sure,
You know,
he's
it's
driving.
it's not like a group of other houses that are saying, "Hey, listen, I don't agree with that." No, I agree with it. You know, it's not that to that point. It's like, you know, Rifa is going around from house to house and says, "Listen,
but
I know we can win this war. Let me handle it, and you know, believe me, you'll be happy with the whole end of this whole situation."
But I don't think it would prevent them from, you know, their on the ground tactics, like was suggested, that they just kill the prisoners. You know, I mean,
I think that Madman's pointed out something quite good, because you got Rifa saying, we've got to move fast, and he might get a bit of kickback from the generals, and he pulls strings, and all of a sudden now the generals are being told, no, you've got to do this. So an order goes all the way down the chain of command, hits the people on this colony, and they're just given an order: pull out now, immediately,
drop everything.
So they probably don't even finish. They leave prisoners in their cells and just withdraw
Oh,
from
yeah.
the planet.
Probably
immediately.
they
So I
abandon
can
them,
understand that. Yeah.
Well, it would depend on how, you know, how the Centauri military is run. Do they generally question, or, you know, they might have been fighting this war and they've been getting, you know, Rifa's been getting more and more. You know, they're starting to be like the Germans in
Erratic.
World War II. It's like,
Yeah.
Just do what you're told, man. You know, otherwise look what happened to Bob.
Yeah.
You know, he asked a question.
I'm not
Well,
sure why
remember
they would.
that the Centauri are defeat, invade, control. That's their whole situation. They don't. Once they have that, you know, whatever planet they're going after or station or anything like that, they'll take control of it, and then they'll move on. And it's said in this episode.
I'm also not
that's
sure
why they're
though,
breaking the pattern, right?
I'm also not sure why some rando, you know, person captured, they would think that, you know, they're going to get anything particular out of them. You know, I mean, it's not like he was a high-ranking officer or something.
I'm Bob, the
janitor
at the local factory. What are their codes? Tell me the codes. What?
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's could have been done better.
I think so.
There was two things with the whole, going back a little bit with the Franklin thing. I'm wondering if, number one, they just needed Franklin to give Franklin something to do,
Mhm.
or are they trying to show that, another piece in that the humans are very much on the side of the Narn versus the Centauri in this? Is that what they're trying to, like, that's the only thing I could think of that would be, either
Well, the
either
Babylon 5
Franklin
staff
needs a
is.
job, or he needs more screen time, or it's, we got to show even more that the humans are on the Narn side. But I mean, it's pretty obvious the humans are on the Narn side. Do we really need more of that?
Well,
No,
no,
I don't think so.
You want to show. See, and the reason why the Franklin that is brought in on this, you want to show how the Narns are broken now. You want to see how injured they are. They're bringing them in. They're broken. I mean, their main fleet has been destroyed by the Shadows. What's left? You have to ask yourself at this point. And then you have the people that were on the front lines that were managed to able to get out of there and head to Babylon 5. And you got people probably on the deck that just basically that are semi-injured, and they trying to get them out of there. And then you have the people that are dying that are in the med bay.
Well, that particular instance was before the final defeat, but I guess the point still holds that they are. But Snob, you were saying about humans are for the Narns. I don't think that's at all established. I think it's established that the Babylon 5 crew is for the Narns.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. The humans
not
on
Earth.
Babylon 5.
Yeah, Earth
not
Force,
Earth.
not at all.
No,
It
obviously,
seems
the ones on Babylon 5. That's what
Yeah,
I mean.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason to do it that way. To me, I'm kind of tending to think that maybe it was they wanted to get Franklin to do something to do, and show more of the devastation of Narn refugees and stuff like that. But they've been showing that for a couple episodes now. So
I wanted to bring back that fight scene in the Soklo. What the hell?
Oh, yeah.
I gotta see, this is the most craziest fight scene I've ever seen. You had Centauris going in the air like something out of a Hong Kong flick.
You always have one. I'm sure it's the same extra that always does that jump in the air, flying around kick. And
yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm sure those guys, they probably have the same guys as like, oh, okay, you want us to flip over the table and then knock over. Okay, yeah, we got it. We've done this 100 times.
And you got to look at it. The Centauri are holding their own, and you have to put to the point is that the Narn are pretty strong, because there was that scene back a couple episodes back where Jakar picks up that stone table and freaking snaps it in two. It's like, and then meanwhile, you got other Narn that are probably as strong as Jakar, and they're getting their ass kicked by these guys. They're like,
they're kind of pudgy. They're pudgy Centauri.
Yeah, this is what I thought was interesting too. I'm like, like the impression of the Centauri are these, their
fat and
civilization
lazy,
is on the decline. They're fat and lazy, and they like to, drink wine and eat, and they're like the Rome at the
live
at the
to
end
the excesses.
Yet they're jumping up and doing these spinning kicks, and I'm like, geez, those. I'm watching. I'm going, wow, those. I guess these are the Centauri that are like into martial arts and work out.
Apparently, they all learned Savant
they're kicking ass
in grade school. It's
is this the same team from Kill Bill? I mean,
yeah. Yeah, it was pretty.
But
you're right. You're
right.
They get their ass kicked by the Narn. The Narn.
We have seen that before, though. The high kick, and it has appeared a couple times before.
Yeah.
With the Centauri.
Yeah, that's why
probably
I agree.
The same.
I agree. I think it's the same guy.
Yeah.
We got this guy. He
can do this kick. Let's get it in there.
You can just see the stunt team getting together. All right, Bob, you're gonna do the high kicks again. Who am I kicking? I guess you kick Fred. All right, Fred, put on the.
Fred's used to getting kicked, so
Fred, you're a Narn this time.
Yeah, it's like that joke in The Simpsons where they were having that big fight, the Yakuza fight in the middle of Homer's garden, and there's this one little guy just standing there, and they're dragging Homer in. And says, "No, I want to see what he's gonna do."
Watch the little guy.
And close the door, and you hear him.
Oh, I missed it. Yeah, I thought that fight was. I mean, great fight scene.
Yeah.
But, I thought that it seemed.
I was
Centauri
kind of
were
surprised.
being overdone.
I was
figured
kind of
the Narns
surprised.
would mop the floor with them.
Well, did you notice in that scene they're all sitting there watching it, and even the Centauri are just kind of sitting there. They weren't
Yeah.
doing the thing before where they're like, "Yeah, let's murder him or
Kick
whatever."
ass.
Yeah, but did you notice the
North.
Centauri woman that took the sidestep and says, "I'm out of here"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Yeah,
Which
they
that-
all
that was
they
her
all
direction.
just they're all white. It's like they're all watching a football game, and then the game's over and one side's lost and one's won. So they all turn to each other and they just start fighting. All right, you and me, yeah, let's go.
Manchester United.
Yeah, it was pretty.
That's not what come to my mind when you said football. I'm sorry, my Americanism is showing.
All right, good night, Weatherman. Good to see you.
Good night, Weatherman.
I hope you enjoyed the show. Yeah, I thought that was a little bit strange, but it was good fun.
Yeah.
Thank God that doesn't happen at American football games.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to mention also the scenes. There was an extensive. They used a lot of the special effects budget for the space combat scenes.
Oh yeah, they did
in this one.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a good use of it. It seems the right time to use it. But I wonder if you had any comment about that.
Well,
Did you notice the ships that came pouring out of the shadows that they launched this ball, and that ball exploded, and there were like all these tiny small ships in there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they kind of looked like these
like a swarm.
Yeah.
Well, at first it looked like almost like the little stickers that get caught on your socks or whatever. They kind of
the little birds and
little
stuff
birds,
like that.
yeah. And then they kind of just broke apart into all these little tiny,
Yeah, those were fighters, right? Like that's what I assumed.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
It's either fighters or they were like some sort of missile device.
Or drones.
They didn't really get
some
into
sort
that.
of- Some sort of.
They seemed to head right towards whatever.
I think they did use the same effect when they shot at the portals that they had opened. When they were trying to.
Yeah, that was more of an energy based to destabilize the hyperspace portals.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
and of course, then the ships that destroyed the ships immediately.
Yeah.
No,
No,
one
it's-
great
it's-
thing is when the shadows leave, you notice how they just disappear into space itself.
Yeah.
They just literally because the ships are so black, they just literally they're gone.
Well, you see the stars kind of flicker.
You
like
do. I do wonder because we've seen it with when Kepha came across the shadows, how they just appear in hyperspace and then disappear. So I'm wondering whether they don't need to make hyperspace portals or anything like that. They just kind of
seem to go in between
hyperspace.
hyperspace and regular space. Just
And you notice how
They
the
can
ships
phase in and out.
interconnect.
They can attach themselves to each other. Yeah.
Well, and also we've seen that they can change their spectral thing. So it may be maybe that type of thing on a ship level scale, where we can't see remember the episode when they've got Morden in the holding area.
Yeah.
And he has them adjust the thing, and then you suddenly you can see the two creatures, the two shadow beings.
They have the ability to bend light.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
So
Yeah.
it's very, very likely that they have that same technology on a bigger scale too. So they not necessarily are going into hyperspace, but they are
Fading away. Yeah.
They're
Going stealth.
basically.
folk stealth.
Well,
But visually stealth.
and the weapon collapsing the hyperspace portal that was kind of eye opening too. It's like, ooh, that's
that could be devastating to all the other civilizations.
kiss your escape route goodbye.
Yeah.
Well, what I loved with this scene though is we see the Narn heavy cruisers really at their best. And I think there was an episode you did where there were refugees escaping, and you were questioning why the Narn ship wasn't opening fire on the Centauri. And I believe it was a heavy cruiser, and you can see it there. They got two main front cannons, very, very powerful, but they're fixed, so there's no directional
They're all
latitude when firing. Yeah. But they dealt a blow to one of the shadow vessels, and I think it's the first time we've ever seen damage done to a shadow vessel.
Mhm.
I think you may be right.
But
And
it's still-
also, the Narn had like energy weapons that dissipates energy, and they had shot that down, and the shadows just brushed it off.
Oh, the energy mines. Yeah,
the energy mines.
Very powerful, the shadows.
But that does mean that there's some technology that the Narns have that Jakar is going to have to hand over to at least to Sheridan for this upcoming battle. I think
if there was a survivor with the telemetry data of that combat, that would be incredibly valuable. But no ship survived.
Right.
But I mean, you would think that they could just get the info from the Vorlons.
You would think
Kosh should know this stuff they fought before, or let's now that we have.
But it's been 1,000 years, so who knows what kind of new technology they've come up with.
True.
Have they peaked or have they continued? That's the big thing. Did they already plateau in technology, or have they continued upwards? In their because I know the Shadow was sleeping, but was all of the Shadow sleeping, or were they mustering forces? And
usually
there seems to be the strange dance between the Shadows and the Vorlons, because they're like giants, and giants at the playground, and if I don't know, but I'm guessing the power of the Vorlons, if they brought that to bear, and then the power of the Shadows, we'd just be trampled underfoot.
Usually in the sci-fi trope in these situations are that these super advanced races are they're not advancing anymore. They've reached the peak.
Yeah.
They don't feel there's any need to do it, to go any further, or they become degenerate,
stagnant.
Yeah, but if you're at 10 and they're at 1 million, though,
right.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter to you.
They don't care, right?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, work your way to 11. What do I care?
Yeah. Also, to answer the if the Shadows were asleep or not, if you go back to episode 5, The Long Dark, and what was mentioned, the creature that was on there, that it was headed for Zahadu. Yeah. So you could put to the point perspective that the Shadows have servants to themselves. What are these servants? Who they are? Where do they come from? But it seems like they have servants. You got to remember, Mr. Morton was part of the the Icarus, and now he serves the Shadows.
Yeah.
Right.
So who's serving the Shadows at this point? Who's taking care of them? Or who's been taking care of them for the last 1,000 years?
That's true. Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll find out. We don't know.
Have we? I had one other question, but it's very minor, and it's not on. It's going back quite a bit. Anything else on this area, Cam? Anybody that we want to keep talking about, or can I bring in my non sequitur question?
No, go ahead.
The Shadows were in hibernation. Yeah. All right. So going back to the Delin and Sheridan, what does everyone thinks of Delin's quote swearing unquote?
Oh,
that was funny.
Yes. It's one of my favorite curses. I say it around the house every day.
You say what? Sorry.
I say that around the house every day. Abso-fraggin-lutely, damn it.
I wrote that down. I really did. I love it. I really did write that down. Abso-fraggin-lutely.
Well, you see now that Delenn is beginning to learn more and more about humans.
Yeah.
And their language, how they handle things. That whole segment with but this. Remember the last time they're talking about
motor butt.
I don't like.
No. We know what they meant there.
But no, she started to learn the situation.
Show the cleavage. Motor butt.
Yeah.
This is where we're at right now. She's learning everything that she can, to try to work with the humans.
Yeah.
Which some of the Minbari aren't, they're not really doing. They're not caring to this point. The Great Council, you guys mentioned before about the Great Council, and how much Delenn has changed to this point.
Yes.
But, this is what, this is the link that it needs to be done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely, and the question is the Minbari at some point going to respect her for what she does? Obviously, there's a lot of the Rangers that we saw were Minbari, which I was kind of surprised at actually. I don't know if they're all from the religious caste or some of them are from the warrior caste or what's the third caste?
Worker
caste.
Worker, warrior. religious.
Yeah, but regardless of whether or not what caste they are, I was actually surprised to see that many Minbari. And were there some non-aligned world, some other aliens that were in that crowd too? Did I notice? I don't think they were all just humans and Minbaris.
No, it was just a big mixture.
There was some Narns.
I didn't notice any others, but
I can't recall.
I didn't look deeply. I just going back. I just say I kind of the I'm okay with the Delin, learning to be more human and cursing, and these various. I think it's sort of a lighthearted little addition there. I don't have any problem with it.
It was a lighthearted moment. It was a passing moment.
Yeah,
and it was it wasn't ill placed like we have seen. We have seen some ill placed humor in episodes where it just didn't fit. In this case, I think it fit. It was fine. It was not over the top or anything like that. So.
And I didn't have any trouble with the the final scene with the various Rangers. I'm assuming that the Rangers are the guys that are going to be doing the sort of sneaking around. They're going to be passing notes from people to people. But then you're going to still need there's some Minbari in there who look normally dressed. You're going to still need these administrative types who are going to be in different things. They're going to gather information and
places of authority.
And in positions of power and authority, they're going to pass those notes on to Rangers, and they're going to take it from point A to point B, or pass it on to whoever needs to know, that kind of thing. So it seemed to me that everyone's not going to be these black cloak wearing spies.
Like we've seen in the previous couple of episodes, or where we've seen the Rangers. Yeah.
In any military organization, I think the clerical staff outnumber the military people. So you get a company and stuff like that. The amount of support staff you have behind that company is huge. So I think the Minbari are those clerical people. They keep the paperwork going. They make the notes. They confirm logistics and stuff like that. They do all the stuff the Rangers don't have to do.
Even a rebellion conspiracy needs HR.
Oh, you need some good
HR people.
I just looked back at the ending part of the episode with all the people in the room. It was mostly human and Minbari, Akash, and Sheridan and Delenn. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So there were none of the non-aligned worlds or anything.
No, there was no one in there on the scan.
Okay.
Are you? Usually if you have a conspiracy, you usually have a sort of a cell structure. You generally don't want everyone to know who everyone else is. So I thought it was a little bit,
well, how many people were in this room? 25, 50?
Yeah, that's,
that's, but it's
all
not
probably the key people. Maybe, I don't know. It seemed a little. Maybe you need one time to get together to rally around the boss so that everyone goes, yeah, I believe. We got a great leader. I'm behind the thing.
Pete Hegseth recalled all of the generals and stuff to have a meeting with them. So
you do need those things. That's what I'm saying. But usually in a conspiracy, the ability to keep it secret so that no one person blows the names of everybody else is more important than
loose lips.
Than keeping the morale up or something.
Loose lips allow Shadow to destroy ships. I don't know. It's gonna be fascinating to see what happens in the next what is there 3 episodes left?
2. We're down.
There's only 2.
2 episodes left.
Are we? Okay, so that means there's only gonna be 2 episodes on the next disc. That's weird. Yeah.
No, that's happened before on some of these.
Well, they might have. I think one of the other episodes then has to have commentary, if not both of them. Mm-hmm. That would make sense because that's going to occupy space on a DVD. Mm-hmm. And of course, that means I'm going to have to watch the commentary as well, just to pick up and see if Straczynski has any other witty information to say. Because it was kind of fascinating watching that one episode. Like I said, I know I brought it up a couple of times. You guys are probably sick about hearing it. Of it, but I watched the episode straight through, and then I watched it through with the commentary, and I actually watched it through the commentary a second time, as well as watched it. I think I watched that episode 4 times, twice without the commentary, and then twice with. So
Now, here's the one thing you got to bring up at this point, and we brought it up before, but we didn't really talk about it. Zathras.
Well, we didn't see Zathras.
No, we didn't see it, but no, he's mentioned.
His name was mentioned. So
now, Zathras supposedly is from what we know from that episode on B4 that he was there, and he's supposed to be in the future. Now, how is that possible that he's here and he's on Babylon 4?
Well, Zathras say that not Zathras. That's Zathras' brother.
That other Zathras.
That's Zathras.
No.
Zathras'
We're not at that
Zathras.
point. That joke. We're not at that joke yet. So basically, that's
somebody said it.
Further,
somebody said
I know
it.
somebody said it, but we're not at that joke yet. But it's further down the line.
Okay.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing about it is that
maybe Zathras. Maybe they're all named Zathras.
Is this a younger? No. I'm saying you got to put it to the perspective. Zathras is on B4.
Mm-hmm.
He's also here on Epsilon 3. Is this a younger Zathras? And that's the reason why we haven't seen him yet. And you have to ask that question.
Well, we know Zathras survived.
No. We don't know where he went. That's the thing. That ship was supposedly the station was going to the future, and we saw the way that we saw how that episode ended.
Well, the question is where in the future did it go?
Yeah, exactly.
Know.
You saw an old Sinclair. How far is that?
Yeah. Good question. I don't know. You're teasing us because you know everything.
Oh, I know, but these are the questions I asked.
Sometimes I feel when these questions are asked, I'm giving
you the questions I asked.
You guys know the answer.
I know the answer, but the thing about it is, these are the questions I asked originally when I first saw this show. Is that holy shit? Wait, how can Zathras be here in the present day and on Babylon 4 in the far future?
Well,
also to the point in that past tense also too. You got to remember that whole situation where Sinclair ended up on Babylon 4, in that rescue crew, Zathras was there too. In the past.
The other question is, was it in the future so that it could come back to the present to assist with this war?
Exactly. Is it to this point? Now I know the answer, but the thing about it is we have to wait.
Well,
it's a foreshadowing.
Because that it I think it was even so much as said that it was for a future war. And was it Garibaldi that saw future combat or something like that
Garibaldi did.
Yeah, Garibaldi
defending Babylon 5 by the looks and getting Sinclair onto a life pod.
Yeah, so who's to say? And there could be some weapon that ages some people too. I mean,
well, no, that Sinclair part doesn't exist anymore. You have to remember that point because that's early.
That timeline is that's already been changed.
We're in a new we're in the new the new version of this show. Where that was supposed to happen to. But the thing about it is, you never know, that might link back to that as well.
Now, as for whether or not we'll see, I mean, we obviously know about in the real world what happened to the actor that plays Sinclair.
Mm-hmm.
But what we don't know is if he did make reappearance or if he was able. There was a time when he was better. I know he had made one of the ways that helped him deal with his condition was actually going out and doing some con appearances, from what I understand.
JMS helped him.
Medically. Yeah.
He helped him.
So, I think he still had a lot of, and he kept that. I don't think he ever revealed that information about his condition until after he passed. I think that was the situation, But will we see Sinclair reprise his role in a as that as that character and for an episode or two or something like that. Who knows?
Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Let's
Let's
wrap
sum
this
up.
up.
And three of you know, and two of us don't. So let's keep it that way.
Yeah, let's any last minute things anybody wants to discuss about the episode. If not, I'll go on to final thoughts. Anything we missed that anybody wanted to address?
No, I think we got
Okay. Final thoughts. Madman, you want to go first?
Alrighty. Well, here we have a powerful episode. And we're seeing now the Centauri have won the war with the help of the shadows. What is to come with what's going to happen next on this show? And that's you got to ask yourself a lot of questions. Also, down below you have the planet Draal. What part is Draal going to be in the coming episodes now and going into season 3? And then what else is going to happen at this point? And these are all the questions that you're going to ask. And how powerful the characters Londo, Jakar were in this episode alone. I gave this episode a 10 out of 10. One of the only episode, a few episodes that I've given 10 out of 10 on that,
All right.
because of how powerful it's been.
Jeff.
Oh, I thought you were going to do Dean first.
Well,
Okay.
you want Dean to go before you?
Yeah, go ahead, Dean. You go.
Okay.
I want to hear what
you want me to go? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a powerful episode. It's, in my opinion, it is the best episode of the season by far. It sets the stage for season 3 and going forward. We have seen the civilized galaxy descend now into utter chaos with the Centauri moving on their neighbors. It means the non-aligned worlds are now impacted. What will the results of that be? The acting, superb. It's, in my view, this is the episode that twists everything round. We're seeing the shadows have moved very openly now. We're seeing things are not right in the Centauri court. The Emperor's not in control, not one bit.
Right.
And we've seen mass drivers in effect, which are basically they take rocks, asteroids, and just bombard a planet with them. So there's no radiation really as fallout, but it just kicks the dust up. It creates a nuclear winter, and it obviously immense devastation. Yeah, I remember the first time I watched this episode, and even now when I watch it again, it conjures those real emotions. And like Madman, it's a 10 out of 10. There's only one other episode I'd give a 10 out of 10 to. So yeah, but this is one of the best episodes ever. Yeah.
Awesome.
Jeff.
All right. Well, man, you guys are making a strong argument for a 10 out of 10. I was going to give it a 9.5. 9.5 is what I was going with, and mainly because
Boo.
I know, yeah,
Boo,
I
Wendy
know.
Testemeyer.
Let me kick him out.
Express your freedom, Jeff. Express your freedom.
Let me kick him.
Freedom. I think the speeches were very powerful. They were excellent. All 3 speeches, in particular, Jakar's speech. I think there's a lot of questions about what's going to happen now. The Centauri, are they emboldened? Are they now going to start moving on other civilizations? Are they feeling emboldened enough to perhaps start picking off human colonies abroad? Are they, who knows? They think they've got the universe by the tail, so to speak. And the question is, is it they who has the universe by the tail, or is it something that has them under their control? And clearly we know what the answer is to that. Londo's performance was excellent. I thought that Peter Jurasik did a great job of conveying the mixed emotions, the emotions that he's individually feeling, while the obligation to be that upstanding, that bold and diplomat that he's supposed to be, almost in a scary manner. Jakar, gave an inspiring speech. This is the we're the rebellion. We are here. We're not going anywhere. If it takes us 1,000 years, we're gonna be free. And Sheridan's, this is the line in the sand. Well, in this case, the line between the light and the dark. But we're drawing a line, and the neutrality of this station is not going to be challenged, and we are going to fight against the darkness. Doesn't matter at any cost. And we already know that 3 other Babylon stations have been lost, and one mysteriously disappeared into a different future time. But other than there's a couple of little quirky things, but there's not really anything to knock about it. So I guess I'll up it to 9.75. Is that okay? Will that make you happy, Madman?
Boo, boo, Wendy Testmeyer, boo.
I got upstairs pounding the floor on me too. Somebody's upstairs watching the stream going, what?
We know their answer.
Yeah. I mean, this was about near perfect. I again, this is the first time I've seen it. Only watched this episode
it's okay.
once.
It's okay
So,
what you gave to it. It's not a problem.
And I don't have the perspective that some of you guys have from having seen the whole series before. So I have not seen beyond this episode. I want to. I kind of want to go up there and watch the next. Yeah. I'm getting booze from upstairs. Anyway, Cam, take
Look what
it,
I just
please.
Yeah. So remember, we're almost done. We got trivia, and don't forget, we got our promo. We're gonna
Oh yeah,
put out the promo,
and I have an announcement too. So
okay, Cam.
Well, I'll give Jeff a little cover. I'm going to say that this is a 9.5, and the reason why is because I know there are other episodes I like more. So if I was going for this season, if I was keeping it to the season, I would undoubtedly say this is the best episode of the season. Yeah. So if you're going that way, then I guess that would default to a 10. Performances were great. I'm critical of the performances sometimes, and the dialogue, which is sometimes George Lucas-y, and that's like, how does anybody really deliver that? But this one, it all came together great. Yeah. So, literally, with the exception of that bit with Franklin, no complaints. And it's also, what do I complain? What is the thing that I complain about? Why I like or don't like episodes? And it's like, if it's not main storyline related, and this one, every storyline and sub storyline is full main storyline. So great. I've gushed over the details, so I'll leave it there, but very pleased, love it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a near perfect episode. Great performances by Londo, Jakar, and even Garibaldi is getting some good FaceTime in there, doing a good job with what little he had to do. Near perfect. And the Franklin, the sort of the spy, that aspect was the only thing that was sort of questionable. Otherwise, great speeches, powerful. I haven't seen the last 2 episodes of the season, but I think so far it's the best episode of the season for sure. Yeah. Great episode. It's surprising that we can have science fiction that can be this good. And I
wish we could again.
Yeah, more people should be watching this series. Yeah, great. All right, awesome. Okay, highly recommend this one. All right,
what's your number? What's your number? Give me a number.
I would give you 9.5, something like that.
Okay,
near perfect.
Okay.
Near perfect.
Near
almost
perfect.
10. Very good.
So we're about half.
Okay.
And half. Yeah.
Let's go with trivia and then the promo. Let's close this out. Okay, so trivia for next week. The questions we have are, let me get them up here. What outlawed weapons are used to attack the Narn homeworld? The Narns are sending their entire fleet to attack what planet? How does my spelling? It should be Drawl. How does Drawl describe Sheridan's rebellion? What is Jakar's relation to Justen? Jakar is Justen's what? According to Jakar, what is the greatest power in the universe? And I think we addressed all of these questions.
Yes, we did.
Yes,
And
we did.
remind me to give you crap about number
In the,
4 and putting a certain number of blanks in that.
I will not remind you.
This is not crosswords.
I will not remind you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give
The
you the
only reason I
answer.
put that in there was because the number of ones don't mean anything.
And,
Just so that
and
it's not
the interesting thing
confusing.
is that was never said. The word that's there was never said.
Yeah, I didn't. That doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to
but-
make
but-
sure that the question is clear and understood. That
Uh-huh.
Jakar is Justen's whatever, as opposed to
is just in
the
something.
reverse.
Yes.
But anyway,
See, I'm going to give the answers. It's C, D, B, A, B.
F. No, F.
all right.
The last
Good.
one is F.
Okay, so let's move on. And everyone ready? This is the.
I'm excited. You got to show
excited
this.
about this.
I got to see
The
this.
promotion that Madman put together for season 3, and I think I've seen it. Cam has seen it, and who else? World premiere. Yeah, I think Jeff saw it because he begged me, so I had to show it to him. You didn't see it, Jeff? No.
I saw it,
Okay, see, there you go.
but only once. I don't remember it.
Other than that, no one's seen it. It's about 2:26, so it's 2.5 minutes long. All right, let me turn off the captions so you can get a nice, good look at it, and let's roll the tape.
We didn't.
Repeat, they're coming through! This is Earth Alliance Station Babylon 5. They're all over the place! When the lightning starts flashing, there'll be no hiding place.
If you go to Zahadu, you will die.
And we're back.
All right. I hope
Very
everyone
good.
enjoyed that.
Very
Yeah,
good.
That was awesome.
Thanks, Madman,
Yeah.
for putting that together. That's
problem.
awesome. We got a shorter version that we will pass on to other channels. Hopefully, Jason will put it up on Sci-Fi
we
for Geek.
we need to. Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
let me
and that-
know. I know a guy about that.
Right on.
And note that if you saw the last card on there, I mean, this season has been in Coming of Shadows. Next season is the Point of No Return.
Yeah.
Is the main plot, is the main title line for the entire season 3.
I'm hearing cheering from the peanut gallery. So obviously,
Excellent.
Madman, you're greatly appreciated in the household here.
Yeah, it was awesome. And it's now live on the channel itself as well. So
you made it standalone? Okay, sweet.
You can, it's standalone. You can go and watch it. Yeah. All right.
Now the question is, can I top it with season 4?
Well,
we'll have to see.
One shall see.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, that's great.
Jeanette loved it.
Vicky
loved it. Look at that.
All right, good.
So, I mean, they have absolutely no vested interest, right, Dean?
The wives. Awesome. We'll take what we can get. Okay. Any promo real quick? Let's end off. We're at 2:30. Madman promos.
Yes.
What's going on
Tomorrow, Taco Thursday. We're right here on Cuticast TV. Crunchyroll has been quietly removing anime from their site, which is no longer available anywhere else and very hard to get on physical media. What is going on? We'll be discussing that on tomorrow's video.
Okay. Jeff.
Oh, no. We got to do Dean first because I got
okay.
Dean,
right.
The guest first.
Yes. So next Wednesday, Jack has his. So this is Jack, the Lost Law Scholar. He has his 1,000 subscriber special. So I will be playing 5e with him and a group of others. I think it's planned to be live streamed or it will be recorded and then put up. So looking forward to that. That's next Wednesday. And I am going to be launching on Drive-Thru RPG a tile set for creating your classic blue dungeons. And it's amazing. I'm using it for all of the stuff we're doing in Untold Destiny. So we will be putting that out in the next day or two.
That sounds great. 1,000 subscriber show.
Yeah,
right?
that's yeah. So Jack's put this together. We've created characters. It sounds like it's going to be a blast.
We'll have to. We should do.
I want to see this tile set. I want to see this tile set.
Maybe
you will. Yeah.
1,000 subs. Cam will do a face reveal, something like that.
You gotta let me know. Maybe I'll get you on my channel.
Oh, always always happy to do that.
All 9 of my subscribers. Hopefully that's going to change here soon.
Jeff.
All right. So let me full screen me, please. Tomorrow night on a special episode of Live from the Bunker, Dad gave me the keys to the Camaro. So I'm going to be running the show tomorrow night at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to have Griffith Morgan, George DeRosa, Dave Bacata, and Matthew Tapp. Griffith Morgan is he's from Fellowship of the Thing. He is also probably most well known for his documentary on Dave Arneson and the crew that helped create Tannisborg, and of course Dave Arneson was one of the co-creators of Dungeons and Dragons. George DeRosa and Dave Bacata are the current stewards of the Arduin project, which was wonderful. Another one that goes back. Was created back in the late 60s and worked on until the 70s, and it came out in the early 70s. And so they are the publishers of Arduin. They also make they actually make cast minis, the old classic style minis that you buy. And then Matthew Tapp, the young lad, he's up and coming game designer, and he is the creator of Burrows and Borderlands. So I'm going to have all 4 of these guys on the show. Hopefully everybody can make it. This is going to be streamed on Sci-Fi for Me TV, as well as my tabletop, my Tennessee Tabletop Tavern channel. But join us on Sci-Fi for Me TV. We want to show Jason that we can really boost his channel. So, at any rate, I just wanted to make sure that everybody brought their best game up.
What time was that? That's you said
That's
the evening.
8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, it's a
8 p.m.
special
Eastern.
show.
All
And
right,
we have another special show
early.
at
All
6 p.m. on Saturday. I'm still on the working up on that one. That's going to be discussing cons, but right now this is the big one. This is the big one. Griff actually may be joining us for that one as well. He also is the host for Arnicon, which is held in Minneapolis, Minnesota, regarding the in the memory of Dave. They've got Gary Con for Gary Gygax. Well, they've got Arnicon for Dave Arneson. So we're talking some old school people and an up and coming young guy. So I'm excited to hear what all they've got to go. They've got a Kickstarter. It's only got like a day or so left on it. So come and join us. Join me, anyways. Kind of, please.
All right, I'll try to be there, and I'm gonna have to start Snobicon.
Snobicon, okay.
Yeah. Cam.
I hear there's a show on Sunday night at 11 p.m. For the Top Lofty Lounge, but I have no idea what it's about.
There is? Oh my gosh!
So
yeah,
but tune in anyway.
I'm sure
is there going to be a tool
good.
time? Is there going to be a tool
good.
time? I like tools.
No, I don't think so.
I'm sure it'll be good, whatever the topic is.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, he'll probably decide at 11 p.m. or.
But he always figures out a good one. He's smart that way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else, Cam? No, that's it.
Well, next week, episode 21 of the season, comes the Inquisitor.
Mm-hmm. Yes, interesting. And Madman's our guest panelist for that show.
Yes, I am.
You'll see Madman.
Keep him busy.
And I'll just remind everybody that we will have after that it'll be the Fall of Night, and then we're going to have a season 2 wrap up, similar to the season 1 wrap up. We talk about everything about season 2, and I'm if I can get some other things set up, sort of end of season 2 stuff, then I will. If not, we will jump right into season 3. No waiting, but we will have a wrap up show. So
that'll be awesome.
Be a week,
and maybe we'll hear Cam's final answer.
Yeah, the wrap up show was very popular last season, so I think hopefully be even better this season because we have a better season to wrap up. So
yeah, we might even multicast it. I know how to do that now.
Yeah, we did that last time, and we'll try to do that again.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Okay, yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else. Look for our socials. Look for me on X. Post up stuff about the show. Let you know what's going on, what's coming up, and on the channel we'll have. I will put up the Sunday show. What the topic is at least 5 minutes before the show starts, for sure. At least 5 minutes before the show, maybe more. Hopefully more. And you can jump on. Don't forget about the Discord, as Jeff has mentioned. You jump on the Discord. We've got our next. We're starting the vote for next movie night, which should be in 2 to 3 weeks from now. I'll schedule that. But we do them once every 4 shows. So the battle is between Damnation Alley, which is kind of a old George Papard, old school. Favorite of mine. I remember seeing it as a kid, and of course the original Planet of the Apes. And just the last time I checked, the Planet of the Apes was kicking butt. Let me just check.
That's what I know.
Apes gonna
Every
win.
time I see Damnation
This
Alley,
keeps up.
Every time I see Damnation Alley, the cockroaches just freak me out on that.
Yeah. So if you want Damnation Alley, you better get in there and vote. If you want Planet of the Apes, you should vote as well. The only problem with Planet of the Apes is that I cannot find a public domain copy of the movie. So you have to have your own copy or watch it somewhere.
Oh, it's got to be available somewhere
if anybody can find
on
it.
demand. No, I mean, but it should be on Tubi or something.
No, I'm talking about public domain. If that's
we're
fine.
above board here, just barely.
Yeah, no problem. I like to have public domain so you can watch it for free. But if not, that's fine. So if you can find it, that's what's winning so far. All right. Okay, and that's it for the show. Thanks everybody for coming. We'll see you next week or on Sunday. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Oh wait.
Good night.